diving into something here. AP BREN's most picks and most bans. We can see probably the most bans are probably what we want to take a look at, right? Gwen, Joy, Ruby, and Faramis, Matilda. That's what I was saying, like the Guinevere and the Joy. I can understand the Guinevere because we've just seen it perform like a king, a queen on the field, a land of dawn. It's crazy. So that's something, if it is slipped through the cracks, it's probably something that AP BREN's planning. So I want to see what they do here. Kind of looks like we're phasing into something as we see the minions fighting here in the animations. This is a pretty cool little Land of the Dawn. Now diving into ONIC, right? And we can see that we got Albert, Keyboy, Sans, Boots, Kyrie, an absolutely loaded team that is ready to retake their crown to be the kings once again.
Definitely. I like this. Did you notice that in the stage? You see like the little names pop above the robots. I think those are chat viewers, maybe. I think those are people in the chat where like they're like showing names above the bots who are watching. We'll take a bit more looks at some of the stats, and this is what I was talking about. The Lapu and Ruby as most picks, and it just goes to show how much ONIC has been favoring Boots and putting him in this position, and no other team other than probably AP BREN has been favoring the Lapu like this. It's just been honestly insane.
Yeah, and also I did see that names were like popping up on some of the crowds, and it'd be a little crazy. So, well, without further ado, let's jump into a little video so we can actually rest our voice for the grand finals. We'll see you guys here soon.
In a world that seeks a balance between metaverses and healthy lifestyle, video games and traditional sport, live shows and web entertainment, we found the only way to harmony. Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phigytal, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds. This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phigytal competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phigytal experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of Phigytal sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top Phigytal tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting Phigytal era. So stay tuned, join our global Phigytal community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
Games of the future. Games of the future. Games of the future.
All right, G, we're finally back. This time we got the real backdrop. We got the Land of Dawn behind us. And it's a vibe. If you guys are staying up late over in the SEA area, I hope it's going to be worth your while. This is AP BREN. It's going to be going up against ONIC. Now, we talked a lot about it, and these teams are finally ready. ONIC will be taking the stage. We got the one, the only Key Boy in the Rome position. I like it. The confidence feeling good. And instead of CW, we've got, oh, I thought they keep throwing me off, G. Kyrie gonna be coming in as well. I'm not even gonna say Sans because this one's Albert. Albert in the gold lane. Sans, Gilad Sans in the mid lane, the Maniac, CW, who's not going to be competing. A lot of us wanted to see him, but he's not going to be showing up on the roster. Boots in the EXP, who in my opinion has just showed up to such an extent. This is ONIC Esports.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely an entry. Look at them. It's always lovely to see like the fans just bringing the you know, just the atmosphere. And look at this, man. Look, there's so many people there right now. And
now they're actually playing for the trophy. They actually feel good about looking at the trophy. You know? Look at Kyrie. He's like, yo, hello, Russia. Like, he's got his hands up. The fans are feeling him right now. I mean, most of the time, international events, Yeah, that's the point. Like, most time international events have always been held in Southeast Asia for Mobile Legends, but this time we're in the heart of Russia right now, and the fans are showing up. They're giving great support. It seems like AP BREN has already taken the stage as well. The teams are going to be loading up into the draft soon. I'm hyped for it. The vibe is there. I'm excited. Now, you said you were going to give this 3-2 to AP BREN.
Yep.
Who do you think first game? How about that? Do we think it's going to be back and forth? Do we think it's going to be nail biting? Are we going to have some 30-minute games here? What's the lowdown, G? Let me see that crystal ball here.
The first turtle.
No betting in Mobile Legends, sir. You know the rules.
Hey, we can just guesstimate and guess. I don't know, man. We'll see. I think again, AP BREN. I have the feeling that they're here to play. Like, even though a lot of people say that ONIC is going to be the team that makes them sweat, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like AP BREN is just a different team from what I've seen before. So the way they've just like steamrolled through the semifinals and the quarterfinals was just different than I've seen any other team, right? Even when we watched and cast ONIC's game, it seemed like ONIC was just a little bit on the back foot on sometimes, and they just didn't know how to make some of the key plays. But again, that's just, you can live and learn from those types of situations. So I'm hoping that that's the case right now. What do you think? Like, I mean, do you think, again, I mean, you're not going to give us your prediction, but I mean, I personally feel like AP BREN just is smooth right now. Uh-oh. Yeah.
I mean, if time would tell, AP BREN is known for kind of taking the first game here. I think if ONIC can get game number 1, I think it's huge. Like, I think game 1 is going to be a major tone setter for this series, and game 1 could maybe even tell us the future of who's going to win it all. If ONIC can come in strong and immediately put AP BREN off pace, like immediately kind of mess with AP BREN's mental and build themselves the momentum, I think it could maybe be the win for ONIC overall. But both of these teams, we've seen them come back after taking a loss, after taking 2 losses. We've seen them pull themselves up out of the gutter and still secure a series. We've seen them be thousands of gold in deficit and still secure a game. So it's a tough call. Both teams are known for pushing the boundaries of Mobile Legends. Both teams have extremely star players on them. I mean, if there's any 2 teams we guessed were going to be here, it was these 2 teams.
Yeah, and the one thing that I can say is that ONIC made it out to the stage first. I mean, that's kind of a win in my book already, so I like that. I mean, just the overall presence.
AP BREN was already on stage. No, AP BREN was already on stage.
Did we miss it?
We missed the walk-in.
Okay, so it's the opposite. So I didn't even catch them. I didn't even catch that.
They were already out there.
Huh.
They were sitting at their chairs ready to go.
They said, we don't even need an introduction. Put us in the game.
We don't need an introduction. They know who we are. We're the world championships, baby.
We don't even got to look at it because it's coming home with us. It is. Again, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I do think, again, I feel like ONIC's definitely going to bring something to the playing field. They didn't make it this far to not show me something, right? That's how I feel it. And that's why I still give ONIC some games, you know, and who knows? I mean, they might flip the script and friggin' steamroll AP again. I think it just comes down to who has essentially learned the meta and learned how to, you know, bait the drafts. And if there's teams that can do it, that can just, you know, create that solid foundation for them to scale and to succeed, it'd be one of these teams, right? So again, I hope it's going all the way. I think at grand finals, we always hope that. But I don't know. We'll find out. Who do you think who do you think, based, I mean, you've casted for these teams, who do you think comes up with a better strategy?
I think, again, I think both teams will come with something. Like, I think draft, I don't know if draft is going to be the decider here exactly. I really don't. Like I said, I really don't think draft, like, I think both teams have great minds behind them. I think both teams can even have a draft that's slightly losing and pull off a win. I don't think we're going to get to a point where it's like, yo, what is this team doing? And even if they pick something crazy, I think there's a plan behind it. But finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping into draft number 1 in a best of 5 at the Games of Future Mobile Legends Grand Finals. AP BREN up against ONIC, and they are quick with it. The Joy ban and the Ruby ban from AP BREN, and the Matilda ban from ONIC.
Yeah, and okay, the Phoveus ban, interesting. One thing that we just want to keep an eye out for, right, is that if AP BREN doesn't ban the Guinevere, but and ONIC lets it go through, then AP BREN is trying to build the Guinevere into this current setup. So I feel like that's the biggest thing to keep an eye out for, is that in the draft or in the ban phase, AP BREN does plan out to bait. And I love that. I love that from a team. I feel like that is what we should see. And they definitely take their time on deciding. I mean, right now they could decide to ban the Guinevere and not even go for it. So there it is. They did.
Bans the Nolan.
Yeah.
ONIC bans
Possibly.
the Phoveus got changed. It's actually a Fermi's ban. They changed the they changed the ban on it.
I was like, huh?
Must have. I mean, Fermis, Phoveus. I could see the mess up, right? Like, it's like you hear something. It's like they ban this. I think with the Guinevere being banned now, ONIC probably goes for the Nolan ban. Maybe they leave it open, and that could be the start of, we were talking about baits and everything. Definitely a possibility there. Go for something where you let them have it, and then we pick up the Hilda or something very aggressive to enter your jungle with. So yeah, a lot of things. I was actually wondering, would AP... the Phoveus does end up getting banned here, which is kind of funny. Is that another mess up, or was that like future sight? What's going on? AP BREN is going to lock in the Nolan immediately. Did ONIC not think that, like, they ban out the Phoveus and give them the Nolan? Do they lock in the 1-1 up front here? I'm wondering, what's the plan here?
It could be any situation here, right? I mean, there's plenty of heroes that could be available for that. I mean, again, first pick into a Nolan. I feel like they should go open. Some type of I was about to say like a utility, a tankier hero, because you definitely don't want to be that one person that gets one-tapped by the Nolan. So, I think the Wan would be one of those heroes that would get one-tapped by the Nolan. So I like it, okay? The Navaria could, I mean, again, you're going to definitely have to overextend to be able to meet and reach the Navaria. And then Arlott. I like Arlott as well. A very utility type hero. Allows you to scale, allows you to set the team. So it gives ONIC the potential to, scale and control some of the team fights. But AP BREN clapping back with the Minnow, which I like as well. They definitely picked that up a few times, and the Minnow does have a really good win rate right now.
And the Harith into the gold lane there.
Oh, God.
I mean, there's like the small possibility that it could be flexed. But still, this is what I meant, man. We're already seeing, it's such a different draft than what you would see from any other teams in the bracket. ONIC gonna lock in the Fredrin here, so it looks like they are gonna go the utility route, something to deal with the Nolan. The Phoveus was banned out, so I'm still kind of predicting maybe we see Albert on the Wan. You do have range, you do have something that can kind of still poke lanes and kind of deal with the range of the Harith, because one of the problems with the Harith is he has great poke, he has good wave clear in the early game to deal with a lot of marksmen. So that's, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, when I see the Phoveus ban, I got to think their plan was to pick something dashy here, unless they were just anticipating or testing the waters to see if AP BREN would go for the Noland. It's like we're going to make that pick look so juicy for you. We're going to ban the Phoveus and leave Noland open. It's like there has to be a plan here for like an idea here to either be aggressive, get into their jungle, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, the Claude is still a viable pick as well. The Wan could definitely scale as well. But again, I feel like we could see a Claude pop up here, right? And then not only that, I mean, we've seen AP BREN pull out a Beatrix. I mean, to be honest, like the marksman route is just so flexible when it comes to AP BREN. It could just be anything, right? Right now, I think we should kind of focus on the EXP, right? Like, what could they possibly go that would be a decent EXP? And I mean, you still have the CC available, which is great sustain, as well as you still, I mean, we could see a Benedetta. I mean, we could still see a Paquito. I feel like something that's going to get into that back line to reach the Novaria.
They take a lot away from Flatteezy here. No Xborg, no Phoveus, no Thamus. They pick up the R-Lot. The Lapu is still open. Clint Ban comes from AP BREN. I think Lapu could we know that AP BREN has kind of fallen to that pick before. It's definitely something we could see Flatteezy pick up here. The Paquito is also still open. So definitely still plenty of options for AP BREN. And both of those picks kind of give what you were talking about, getting into the back line, ways to target down onto Sans, who's going to be on this Novaria most likely.
Yeah. So seeing what ONIC going to pick up here, the CC. Okay. All right. I like it.
It's going to be a Roam R-Lot. Roam R-Lot.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, the R-Lot in the roam position is probably the key right now. And again, but I think AP BREN's kind of got that in the bag. It's gonna definitely be, it's gonna come down to strategic positioning here, right? We're gonna have to see the R-Lot just be in those key places to be able to catch the Nolan, to catch the Harith, right? And what?
Glue.
Yo,
Glue boy.
first time in the tournament?
First time. So here's a pocket pick. Is it something that they think can deal with the CC here? How's it going to be able to handle it? It's another one that can also kind of get to the back line, cause mayhem. I'm not completely against it. I'm kind of a fan of the glue. I'm kind of sad that it fell off the meta. I think it's an interesting pick. And now there's your Claude. Going to be locked in for ONIC. Vexana for the side of AP BREN. It's only game one and the draft is already interesting, and we thought nothing less of these two teams who are never scared to pick something a little bit outside of the meta.
This is awesome, right? This is what I was saying. Like, the teams probably have that, like, the rabbit in the hat, and maybe it's glue. Maybe it's like no one's ever tried him. Maybe he's gonna absolutely dominate in the Land of Dawn, and if anybody can do it, it's gonna be AP BREN, right? Again, we're going to be getting into it. I'll let you lead the way, Trex.
All right, Games of Future Grand Finals for Mobile Legends is about to begin. We're about to hop through the portal into the Land of Dawn to start off the rematch, the revenge match, the grudge match between AP BREN and ONIC Esports.
Right, kind of getting into this, the nitty and gritty here. I really want to focus on this glue pick, right? Like, what is it going to really establish here? And I think what it's going to do is really, like, kind of like what you were saying, being able to split, get into that back line, and be able to displace some of ONIC at this point. Now, ONIC, I love the early aggression, kind of keeping Super Marco at bay. But again, I mean, that's just them poking and probbing at this point. One thing also at the very end, AP picked up this Vexana. Could be a key factor into, you know, the solid CC that they needed. It does seem like AP BREN wants to control quite a bit of the team fights. Now, coming from on the side of ONIC, right? Like, again, just building off of what I said in the draft phase, I feel like the R-Lot's going to have to really rely on key positioning in order to, you know, make plays for ONIC, because it's going to be a little difficult as the team is just, they're they're quick people. You got the Nolan, you got the Harith. Like, you're gonna have to catch them off guard.
I think it's definitely going to be a battle of wills here. I'm excited to see this EXP lane as well, man. Like, how is Boots? I think, obviously, CC, one of the most dominant EXP laners in the game, should kind of get the better hand of Flapteezy in the beginning. But if Flapteezy can scale, even though Glue is kind of an out-of-meta hero right now, one of the reasons being is it takes a little bit too much time to get on the map. Kyle Teasy as well on this Nolan. Once it gets the first item locked in, if he goes for something like the Blade of Habites, we're going to see some big damage. So Albert's going to have to be careful. The rest of the team is going to have to be careful. And oh, look at the damage of being terrified. Keyboy in a little bit of trouble here. Able to dash back. They're unable to find the kill. But we're already seeing the possibilities from Few and Ogwyn.
Yeah, and again, right now, it's everybody's game, right? I mean, the first hurdle is not going to make or break a team, but it does look like both teams want to fight for it.
Son's going to get involved here. Kyle Teasy starting up on the lore, but a big stun onto Keyboy and Kyrie. Kyrie unable to make it in. The grab the slam, and Flapteezy already causing mayhem in the back line. That's the first hurdle. Kyle Teasy will be able to secure it. Kyrie, a little bit too much damage. Flapteezy might be too deep. Nice immobilized onto two members. Boots trying to steer him away, but now Kyle Teasy making the move onto the purple buff and going to steal that away.
You know, I wasn't really even thinking about this, right? Like, they're going to collapse on Boots, though.
Boots in trouble, getting knocked up, taken out. Flapteezy picking up the kill.
All right, back to my thought, right? So the glue, what AP BREN is utilizing the glue for right now is to control the neutral, the split and jump onto Kyrie, and if they can control Kyrie, they can control the game. I feel like that is their ultimate strategic plan right now, and we'll see if they'll be able to bring it to fruition.
Oh, and not to mention they really a lot of damage on Boots there. Boots gonna go down. AP BREN leading 3-0 right now. 2,000 gold lead, almost a 3,000 gold lead at this point. AP BREN is stomping in the land of Dawn. We've seen ONIC in this position before, though. But what they're going to need to try to turn things around is some big sets, some big plays. Albert still in the game, hasn't gone down, but with AP BREN taking away that tier 3 this early, Flapteezy is going to be able to move around the map so much more.
Yeah, the CC is having such a tough time with the glue, the sustainability that he brings. They've already taken all the gold plating and the tower, which is what really is scaling them right now. If AP is able to keep this up, ONIC is gonna have to find a response. And I feel like, again, the response is gonna come down to Keyboy's positioning, and we can already see the burn from Kyle Teasy.
No. That's disgusting, bro. This is looking a little rough. It's 4-0, 4,000 gold lead, 4.5 minutes in. That's about 1,000 gold a minute right now for AP BREN. ONIC unable to even get close to him.
Ogwyn, just look at the micro steps that he's doing here. They're gonna roam up and they're gonna take all of the gold plating off this tower and probably the tower itself. This is huge for AP BREN. ONIC, they have to find responses somewhere, and there's no jungle left. Man, again, it could be anybody's game, but the snowball effect is definitely in place for AP BREN.
Yeah, this is the BREN effect at its prime right now.
BREN effect, huh?
The BREN effect, man. And they're just, I mean, it's like, because here's the thing, they can always switch it up, man. They can either completely dominate you in laning phase, or they can take a slow approach. They are the best of both worlds. They have the discipline of the Philippines, but the aggression of several other hungry regions out there. They're willing to take things slow if they need to, or they're willing to be in your face at all times, and you just never know what AP BREN you're gonna get.
It is true. It is true. I mean, they definitely bring out the difference in the game. We can kind of take a look at some of the items. A Hunter Strike already secured by Kyle Teasy, looking for that speed, just controlling the overall jungle. And you can see that he was looking for that purple buff, but looking for a kill. Did he get it? He did.
Yeah, no purple for Kyrie.
Oh man, this is just going downhill for ONIC. I think it's they're gonna have to find some type of breathing room, but will AP BREN give them that breathing room? And it doesn't look like it right now.
I mean, one good thing going for ONIC right now is Albert and Sans have not taken a death yet. Yes, there's 2 kills on the Boots. Not huge. We've seen CC still scale, even with a few deaths on it. And 2 on to Keyboy. So Kyrie, Albert, or Sans, if they can keep up this pace, they can kind of slow play this and look for an opening later on. But it's going to be a little while until we see Sans or Albert really get the items they need in.
Yeah, and I mean, that snowball effect is just in place now. AP BREN are staying together. So again, I think ONIC's gonna have to just kind of give up some of these neutral objectives, and if they don't, then they're gonna give up their life. So we'll see. Again, building off of what you were saying, Albert not dying is still a good thing. You got 4,600 gold versus 5,600 gold, 1,000 gold difference between the gold lanes, and the Hearth is just only going to scale from this point onwards. You only can see a corrosive scythe being picked up by Albert, and to be honest, everybody is lacking items. Everybody's just got like pieces right now on the side of ONIC. They're
getting what they can right now. That's about it.
That's what I'm saying. They're just, it's like a puzzle piece. They're trying to put something together, but we'll have to wait until about the 10 to 11 minute mark for it to finally come together.
I mean, Booth had to take a slower pace, went for the Dreadnought first, got the breastplate in, just got the War Axe in. Albert looking like he's going to finish the DHS soon, so that's good. He'll have the Corrosion, he'll have the DHS, then it's just on your way to the Wand. He could maybe switch up and go for Wand first, but I think he's going to lock in DHS before that. We'll see. He had the Vampiric Mallet or whatever it is in. So both, I mean, they're definitely on the slow pace. Sans has the book in. Not going to really give damage yet. They definitely need another item in. And by the time they get that item in, AP BREN will already have their 3rd in. So, I mean, it's a little bit of trouble, but Ogwin taking a little bit of damage, going to get pushed back. Flapteezy unable to make the advance. Everybody locking on. Albert able to get a couple free shots in. Flapteezy still gets away, but look at Kyle Teasy on to Boots. Boots able to just survive. AP BREN not able to cause the damage they wanted to. ONIC able to turtle up very well.
Definitely, and the first Lord coming down. I feel like this could be a turning point that if they could possibly do something, but ONIC utilized quite a bit of their utility right now. Sans the only one that really doesn't have an ultimate at this point, and they might just try to bait it here. You can already see the discipline coming from AP BREN. They're controlling the lanes before attempting to take the Lord. Trying to get vision here. ONIC might attempt to try. We'll see Keyboy trying to keep them at bay. Lord just smoothly falling into AP's hands.
Oh my god, Keyboy in a little bit of trouble. Gonna get grab, and slam down. Kyle Teasy able to pick up another kill. 3-0 in 1. Nolan's on fire right now. AP BREN takes the Lord. ONIC just biding time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rough, right? ONIC, what do they really need to do? I feel like they have the ability, they have the heroes needed to mount up a defense here, and I feel like that is what they need to do. Again, they're playing passive, not losing the key. Claude's not going down. Albert staying alive. Kyrie staying alive. Again, the only person that's fallen has been Boots. But again, they're going to have to get some type of kill here as it's 5-0 and the gold lead is just going up from here.
Okay, good call by Sans there. Sends a Meteor to check that bush and finds Kyle Teasy, forcing him back a little bit. Flapteezy under the towers, though, taking a lot of hits to the face. Okay, a lot of damage on Ogwin as well. ONIC, not to defense of the Appraiser's Wrath, finally puts a kill on the map for ONIC. Albert into the back line with a blazing duet, looking for Super Marco. Super Marco drops him on Force, able to also get some more poke off, but ONIC does defend without losing an inhibitor.
This is what I was saying, right? Like ONIC, they have the heroes needed to defend, right? They're just really late game. They have the Claude late game, Navaria late game. So again, they just got to keep the pressure up, but not get too overzealous, right? Don't don't be diving. You can already see that Albert's got 3 items now. The glowing or the golden staff, the corrosive scythe, and the demon hunter. So gonna be destroying some of the tankiness that AP BREN brings. And then look again, Sans just hitting shots left and right. Super Marco falling a little bit low, but again, AP BREN just has the sustainability to just be there. Makes a major factor into play.
The real problem is definitely going to be Keyboy here. He's very behind. About 30.
Oh. All right. So kind of looking at what's going on here, we can kind of see that AP BREN again wants just feeling ONIC out, seeing if ONIC can keep up with them. They know that they have the damage at this point. We'll see. They want the red buff. Could be a little bit of a go here. Albert trying to possibly get it. Kyrie able to steal the red buff here. AP now actively backing up.
Yeah, nice plays from over the side onto ONIC here. Like I said, Keyboy is very behind on items. He's not able to hold the front line like the rest of the team, but ONIC still mounting a good defense. Wait! Ogwin into the backside, causing a lot of damage. Super Marco as well, drops some Mons for Sans, able to find one. Kyrie drops Ogwin as well. Boots gonna be the next on the chopping block. We'll see if they can do it. This is gonna give Lord over to the side of AP BREN. ONIC, without a retribution on the field, will not be able to contest this.
They're just melting this Lord at this point. AP BREN going to utilize this Lord to siege once again. But, I mean, we are getting into the 14-minute mark. We can see a Wind of Nature being picked up by Albert. Could be a saving grace at this point. Navaria has the burn, has the damage, and we can kind of see CC picking up the War Axe as well. So they are gearing up. They are getting the equipment that they need to counter AP BREN. So it's just a matter of that AP BREN has just put so much pressure on it. Can they keep this defense up? Can they keep their castle alive?
I mean, if any team can defend with a 12,000 gold deficit, it's definitely ONIC. But I don't think AP BREN wants to let it happen. Keyboy falls. Kyrie might just be the next Kyle Teasy, able to pick up the kill. Albert with a blazing duet, able to lock on a little bit of damage, clear the waves with the Lord still coming on the top side. AP BREN gonna try to mount the attack to a different angle. Flap Teasy taking a couple shots to the face, but he's okay. Kyle Teasy onto the backside. Lord finally connects. Boots immediately destroyed, along with the rest of the team, and AP BREN takes game number 1.
Definitely quite the game. I can't believe they just ended with that one siege, though. AP BREN taking game 1. We see this again. AP BREN was very disciplined and controlled a bit of the map there, Trex. A bit, the whole map.
I think, I mean, I have to say that I think ONIC has to think twice about letting the Nolan through. I think, and ONIC is known to kind of test the waters game 1, but I think this is not the time to do it. This is not a best of 7. This is not a huge thing. They banned out the Phobius. They let the Nolan through, and they just had no answer to it. Kyle Teasy was a monster on it. I mean, just completely tearing them apart. And with the pace that AP BREN brought, ONIC was unable to do anything about it. Most definitely. I mean, just overall, they did a great job. ONIC taking a look at some of these replays. AP BREN completely controlling the pace, and even at around 10 minutes, when ONIC did start to put up some fights here and there, it still was not enough. They needed definitely another 10 minutes or more to be able to compete here. They needed a lot more time to be able to even make it, G.
Definitely. And I mean, we could just see ONIC trying to hold on with every grasp that they possibly could into this game. Well, I just feel like the major factor was that the glue just came in clutch so much for AP BREN. And you can just see Again, the R lot Keyboy did try to make some key plays, but it just wasn't there as AP BREN was just scaling and snowballing. This was another take right here. They were just not allowing Kyrie to get the buffs that he was needed. And then look, the split, just too much for ONIC at this point. And then this would have been the final siege, if I'm not mistaken. God, look at that.
The layers of CC there, the layers of crowd control there, with few bringing in the Guardian, getting the big knockup, then Ogwin getting the Minoan's Fury. ONIC did not have an answer to all that, and because they fell behind, it was just far too much. They did a valiant effort at defending it, but AP BREN, the BREN effect strikes, and there just wasn't a way in. It's nighttime now in the digital arena, but the bots are still watching. If you guys are out there at all watching, big shout out to all of you. Let's take a look at the MVP. Flap TZ 1-0-9 on a glue.
Hey, again, 47% of his team damage, or the damage taken, which is crazy. So not only was he the DPS, he was also the tank. So he was just, again, the glue just came in clutch. I mean, it kind of countered the CC. Like the CC, it split the damage between a lot of the minions. It was just overall such a wild pick, but actually came into clutch. Could have been something they were just planning. Like I said, if there's any moment, the grand finals is the moment you pull out all the stops. There's a lot of money on the line. Flap TZ going ham.
Yeah, I mean, and it works similar to what the Ruby brings in a sense. It's not like it's not like a hard backline diver, but it can hold the front. And something like with Kyrie on this Fredrin, something like that wants to walk in, it makes it very tough. And we saw it at the very first turtle. Kyrie was not able to get an angle. He was over by the tri-bush. Flap is there waiting for him, getting the stun, then the grab, and just completely denied Kyrie from being able to get into range of even using a retribution.
Yeah, and I mean, this just goes to show that just Flap TZ is just so diverse. I mean, we can see some of the kills. It was like 12-2. Just ONIC was just not able to get too much. We can kind of look at Super Marco and Sans here, 2-0-7 versus 0-4-1, and the gold lead was just astronomical. It was just Super Marco was on the rise, and I felt like that they just got so many key picks after the glue. I don't know if they knew what to do.
I mean, there's definitely a lot to do there, a lot to change. And mark my words, I said it wasn't going to have anything to do with the draft. Well, that game, it had a lot to do with the draft. Come on, ONIC. But definitely, I mean, I think it's all started with letting the Nolan through. Then it moved on to more things, into the nature of you banned out the Phoveus before you let the Nolan through. And then lastly, the glue was just kind of the nail in the coffin, and it was just something that AP BREN had ready to play, had ready to pull out, and it worked very well. So now it's back to the drawing board for ONIC. They have to come differently. Now, do I think they're going to draft like that again? No, we saw something similar in previous matches between ONIC and AP BREN on game 1 back at M5. They let Kyrie play Benedetta jungle, which a lot of people were like hyping up because people were seeing Kyrie run it on stream. So a lot of people were like, is this thing gonna work? And it just got demolished. Like, it did not work at all. So what I'm saying is ONIC has been known to be like, all right, we're going to try something in game 1. We're going to see if we can use this to get some momentum here. And it seems like when they do that, it doesn't always work in their favor. So I think it's kind of back to the basics. You know, that's kind of been the rule of thumb tonight between a lot of these teams. Same thing with Fireflux versus RQ Hoshi. Sometimes you just got to get back to the basics, man. Hello, Kat.
Like a third caster trying to come on the desk.
Guest star on the stream.
I'm telling you.
Who do you think's going to win?
No, Kat, what do you think? I think she said AP BREN, you know.
Oh, nice. Fan of the bees.
I'm joking. Yeah, she's all white, so, you know. I think that she'd probably like an ONIC, you know. ONIC would probably be a better suit. It's an animal, you know. I'm not... AP BREN is...
Bees are animals?
Like
AP BREN are the bees, man. They're the bees.
I guess
Buzz.
the bees, yeah.
Yeah, they're the bees.
Cats don't like flying things though, so
That's fair.
see.
That's fair.
we also
All
got
right, so coming into game number 2, you got a whole zoo over there.
I got a farm over here.
Who left the door open? Who left the
know.
door open, man? What happened?
It is
Sure,
what it is.
everybody
But
loves
hey,
it.
kind of looking at AP BREN and ONIC, right? The last game that kind of went down, the biggest thing that I seen that happened was that really it kind of came down to the draft, but I think it also just came down to that the lanes were just very countered, right? Like we seen that the glue is just such a great counter to the CC, and we just noticed that like it was just overall a good pick, right? And I think that ultimately turned ONIC on its back, and they just didn't know what to do. Again, kind of building onto the Nolan. The Nolan was nice too. Just it was fast, it was quick, it was constantly invading Kyrie, and just it just was too much for him. I like the R-Lot pick. Like I felt like it was a good option. It just the scaling wasn't on ONIC's side.
I mean, there was just a lot. I think there was scaling on ONIC's side. They just weren't able to catch the wave, right? They just weren't able to. They got completely denied in the early game. And AP BREN were just, I mean, they took their composition, they ran with it perfectly, right? They completely denied ONIC of even getting to a point where they could do the damage. Even when Albert got the 3 items in, this was our worry, right? We said, yeah, they'll get 3 items in, but then AP BREN will have 4 or 5. Not to mention Keyboy gets caught off early, who's their roam. He had like an item and a half locked in when everyone else had 3, so he couldn't even hold the front side. It pretty much came down to Kyrie being the tank for the team, and it just wasn't enough. AP BREN was able to shatter through that. So ONIC gets back to the basics in game number 2. Most likely they'll be on the blue side. First pick, first ban, hopefully. They're going to need to take some time to think about it, like what the plan is next, because they have to be able to match that pace. If AP BREN keeps on that type of pace, keeps the aggressive, like not the patient AP BREN, but the we're going to destroy you AP BREN, they have to be able to read that. And they have to understand that AP BREN is the full package, like I said. They want to play utility. If they want to really hover down onto their gold in like golden mage, they can do that. If they want to put Kyle Teasy on an aggressive jungler, they can do that. They have a full book of strategies in their hands right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part, right? Like it's like the only thing that I believe like that ONIC could do is that they need to bait something in the draft phase. Maybe they have a strategic plan to go against a Matilda. Maybe they have a strategic plan to go against a Guinevere or something like that. Bait out something that they can actually counter and utilize is something that maybe ONIC needs to kind of think about. But yeah, I mean, from what we've seen in that last game, AP's BREN's pace was just, it was like calculated. It was smooth. There was just like, there wasn't any mistakes being made. Like when they came to play, they came to play. And I ultimately do think it came down to some of the counters just because ONIC was just losing lanes left and right. I mean, we seen the EXP lane fall first and then the gold lane, and that was before the 5-minute mark, right? Like the gold platings weren't even gone. So I think more of like being defensive might be the best approach, especially if AP is going to be attacking so heavily like they did now. Do you think maybe that's a good strategic approach that they can take?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they could be defensive. They definitely have to not let AP BREN get a composition that's going to allow them to be that aggressive, or they need to play the aggressive route themselves and have something that can compete with that. I think a lot of that's going to come down to, some of those picks. I think I'm wondering, how was the Keyboy pick on the R-Lot and everything? It kind of lacked a little bit. There was just a few things. I think they just got caught off guard. I think from the beginning they just didn't plan maybe for AP BREN to pick up the Nolan first pick, and then after that, they didn't plan for AP BREN to just be in their face so fast and so immediately. So whether they go defensive, whether they get aggressive, they now at least have feel for AP BREN, and there's kind of no excuses. They're going to have to change things up coming into game number 2.
And I feel like that's how it happened last time at M5, right? Like it seemed like AP BREN was able to take that first game, but then the next 2 games went to ONIC. So again, they do seem to have a bounce back aspect to them. But I feel like this meta is just so wild right now that any hero is viable as long as someone knows how to play it. And it seems like they're not sticking with the meta, so I feel like that's the hardest thing to predict, right? Like if I was ONIC, like you need to really take the steps lightly, and if you have the chance to choose first or second pick, it might be an advantage to take that first pick and maybe try to secure something that just is overall even a Nana, right? Like being able to displace, to stun, to stop a frontal assault, to kind of slow them down. I feel like that's what the Navaria was for, but it just again was a late game mage paired with a late game gold lane, and it just AP BREN was like, we're not going to the late game.
Yeah, you see none. You see none at all. And with the amount of CC they had, it was insane. So nextly, it's like if AP BREN is gonna pick things like that, like they're also one of the only teams that have like gone for the Vexana. We've seen ONIC pick up the Vexana once. We also saw ONIC pick up the Odette before. Like maybe we could even counter all this and say ONIC maybe should think a little more outside the box. Maybe not in the sense of like not giving. I definitely don't think you can give up some of the powerhouses right now. I think like the Guinevere, if you're going to give up the Nolan, you need to be ready to, you better get something very valuable in hand. I think there's a few heroes right now on the block. Quinny, Matilda, Nolan, and Joy. Those are some of the picks that you cannot let through unless you're getting one of the other ones. But enough talk about hypotheticals, theories, and whatnot. This is ONIC up against AP BREN, and the bans are starting quickly. ONIC gonna open up with the Fermi's Minotaur. They're gonna force AP BREN to get gritty here.
Yeah, and I mean, we can already kind of see the foundation you were laying, Trax, is that the Nolan, right? The Nolan, the Joy is out of here. Possibly still have the Guinevere. And again, this could be, instead of ONIC baiting AP could be baiting ONIC at this point, right? Like, get the Guinevere. We can steamroll you and be a little bit faster than you.
If ONIC doesn't ban the Matilda here, like if ONIC bans the Matilda, AP BREN bans the Gwynny most likely. If ONIC, so I think at this, if they weren't to build the Matilda, ban the Matilda, then AP BREN could leave the Gwynny open for the trade. But I think with that ban on the Matilda, AP BREN has to take out the Gwynny here. I don't think I want to go against Kyrie with the Gwynny. It's also just gives so much flexibility. Keyboy could take Gwynny.
True.
I think it's just too solid of a blue side pick. It's too solid of a first pick up front with nothing to trade for. But who knows? I mean, we saw ONIC give up the Nolan last time. AP BREN are a game up. They feel good. They just stomped out ONIC downright. They might go for it.
Yeah, I mean, and it just goes to show that it's like, it's anybody's game. It's any strategic advantage or approach that you can possibly take is what you'll want to go for here. And again, there's the Navaria. I felt this. I feel like they are leaving it open because they have an answer to it. I feel, as crazy as it could be, I feel like that so many teams have first picked this Guinevere that they could have a plan to counter it. Again, could be a double-edged sword though, right? Like it could be a bad play for the side of AP BREN. But getting rid of the Navaria, I didn't feel like the Navaria was too big of a problem, but I guess they don't want to give a Gwyn and a Navaria depending on their comp here. So the AP BREN could go for more of a strategic comp here, do a little bit more like, bush camping, kind of taking care of someone. To get rid of that Navaria is I feel like Navaria is just, again, late game, very strategical on, showing positions. I'm guessing they didn't want to deal with it with a Vexana. So Vexana first pick, second pick though. I mean, Arlott, okay.
For Flap TZ or Ogwyn, honestly, I think
it's so flexible.
Yeah, and the R-Lot, Flapteezy's a monster in the R-Lot, man. There was times in M5 where he would make some flicker final slash plays that were just out of this world. It is definitely a scary hero in his hands, and it's also a scary hero in Ogwin's hands. ONIC now forced to respond here. The Ruby's still open. Definitely a possibility. Claude's still open. Definitely a possibility. There goes the Ruby pick. Do they just put Albert on the Claude again and kind of play it safe here? Do they go for a mage now, something like the Nana? There it is.
Yeah. I mean, the Nana is definitely a good play here. It just... Again, it's going to slow AP BREN down, which that's what we essentially, so not only the Guinevere, but also the Ruby and the Nana at this point. It's gonna keep them at bay, stop that aggressive approach. That's why I think AP BREN's going for more of the tactical approach. And of course we'll get to see that in game, but I feel like they're going for more of like, we're going to catch you off guard and take you out, or, you know, something like that. Of course, they pick up the Claude, which again, I feel like is a really good play into this, but it's going to be a very, like, you're going to have to be super precise with the Claude with dealing with a Nana, a Ruby, and a Guinevere at this point. This is wild.
And now into the second phase of bans. AP BREN going to take out the Clint. ONIC, on the other hand, they need to focus in on to junglers, maybe roamers, maybe EXP laners. It's a bit more open and on the field. I think junglers could be the route to go. Trying to think of what can give problems to the Guinevere. And again, it's like, it's tough because AP BREN could literally pick anything, and I wouldn't be like, I don't know about that. They're going to ban out the X-Borg. They ban out something like the Fred? Do they ban out something like the Akai? Do they ban out something like the Basha, you know? A lot of possibilities. Maybe they ban out the Tigreal.
I felt like the Tigreal would have been like a really good go for ONIC last time. Like even though they picked the R-Lot early, again, they still could flex the R-Lot on AP BREN. I just felt like a good solid CC tank is almost better than a Ruby or an R-Lot, right?
True, very true. They're gonna ban out the Bruno. Do we see the Albert? You think we're gonna see the Albert? Yeah, 1-1 here.
The 1-1?
I mean, there's the Fred rune ban from the side of ONIC. With no Clint, no Bruno, he could go Brody, he could go 1-1, he could go Ixia. I mean, there's still tons of marksmans out there. He could pick up the Harith. We've seen Albert on the Harith before, I'm pretty sure. So, and that's what AP BREN went last time, so I wouldn't completely count it off the books. The thing is, they already have a lot of magic damage, so I would like to see something a bit more physical. Or a lot Rome.
Yeah. I mean, they could possibly go for, of course, there's quite a few options. I mean, you're going to have to deal with this Claude some way. So some type of dive hero. I mean, if ONIC feels comfortable taking the Lapu, there it is. And then running into a carry. I mean, carry's a little wild. I mean, it's going to be pretty good against the R-Lot. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to have the front line. They have the control and the CC. It could scale really well here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this time they definitely have the wall to protect carry. They have tons of CC. They have a package. Literally 4 out of 5 of their heroes all have some sort of heavy CC that can hit multiple people at once. Here's the big scary thing for AP BREN. I guess no, they already have EXP and Rome locked in. I was gonna say, like, what if they pick something like a? There goes the Akai.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, they needed something for that front line between R-Lot and Akai.
And help with retributions, help with those neutral objectives. It's a nice answer. It can help deal with literally. It's not, when he's in heavy spin, nothing that ONIC has right now is going to slow him down.
Nah, it's an overall good comp. I like both sides. I can't say that I pick one over the other, but Trax, send us into the land of dawn.
We're going. Yes, sir. We're going to go into the land of dawn now. This is going to be ONIC trying to redeem themselves after a very rough game number 1. AP just trying to keep the pace. It's 1-0 right now in a best of 5 at the grand finals of Games of Future. Gee, do we think with the draft that ONIC has brought, can they handle this? Can they turn the tides right here?
Oh, this is a cool intro. I think so.
Oh, yeah, we're switching it up.
With a new intro. We got chess piece on the board here. I like it. This is... Okay, now we're in the Landon. Does ONIC have what it takes to stop the aggression of AP BREN? We will find out on this this episode as we see. Stop laughing.
Tell me about the win conditions, G.
All right, ONIC here. What we have, right, the Guinevere. I feel like if they're able to utilize the Guinevere's just mobility and out-farm the side of Kaltizi, I think this could be the great option that they need. We can already see, again, Flaptizi is just absolutely insane on the EXP. That could be just the response that they need is maybe stopping Flaptizi from controlling that EXP. Maybe show some pressure up there instead of the gold lane, as we don't see it being a major problem in the gold. Last time we seen the EXP fall first, and it looked like that's what might happen again as the pressure is being applied up there. By the side of AP BREN, again, I think if they just keep up the aggression, keep up the farm, keep it going, that they have the claw to secure the late game. They have a solid CC with the heavy spin combined with the Vexana. Just control the overall team fights. Don't get caught off guard, though, because ONIC has the CC and the control to stop AP BREN's aggression. Kyrie missing that, though. That's a little rough right there. That's a mistake you don't want to make.
It still sends few back. It still does a little bit something there. So, I mean, we're definitely seeing possibilities from the side of ONIC, and it definitely doesn't feel as stompy as AP BREN was.
Yeah. And again, I think it just comes down to the overall control that ONIC is now exerting. They're able to control and just put a little bit more pressure onto AP so that they're just not as dominating as they were. We can already see that the EXP is not too bad. You can see Sans rotating up there as the turtles here. We'll see. Yep. Ooh, the damage, though.
Big knock-up. But wait a second, boots in the backside, taking out few. Kyrie in a little bit of trouble, but they do get the transformation onto Flaptizi. Kyrie thinking twice before he moves in. Keyboy finds a kill onto Flaptizi. ONIC coming out on top in the turtle fight, but Kaltizi still takes the turtle. It's 2-0, but a turtle over to the side of AP BREN. ONIC with a lead in gold. Ogwin gonna be next. A lot of damage, and Sans finds the kill.
Okay. Look at ONIC coming out on top. The Kings looking really good this time around. They have found answers to take on AP BREN. Again, that's just the early game control that a Guinevere brings. And then look at the CC and the control. Now, the biggest thing that we'll want to watch out for here is that Kaltizi picking up the Kai. The Nana definitely counters that heavy spin. So Sans could be waiting to throw out the Melina to be able to stop Kaltizi. Now, it's just going to come down to ONIC. Like, yeah, you secured kills, but now you're going to have to start working on neutral objectives. We can already see the carry picking up the Thunder Belt, so building a little bit defensive. So it looks like kind of like the tank carries coming out on the side here. A heavy spin on the Keyboy.
Uh-oh, big pin on the Keyboy here. Kyrie going to try to come and help out. Keyboy still alive, able to dodge the final slash, and they will get away. ONIC feeling much more comfortable in game number 2.
Definitely, and again, that's the kill lead, but they ain't gonna let up.
Hold on, the Melina blitz, and the kill on to Ogwin. Sans putting another one in the book there. 2-0-1. He's playing such a cleaner game than last time. I think this is going to be critical, making sure, and this is what we meant, back to the basics, man. We all know this little girl Nana is meta. We all know that Vex is meta. We know these things, and AP BREN is not forgetting it. ONIC needs to get back to the roots of that, and we're seeing that in game number 2, and it's already working very well.
I like it. I mean, but ONIC, they don't get tunnel vision, right? You are facing AP BREN. The gold lead's not crazy, even though it's 4-0. Keep the eye on the prize, secure neutral objectives, keep controlling them, keep their speed down, and ONIC can keep controlling this game like this. Now, we are seeing the next turtle take coming in. Do we see AP BREN make this? Or does ONIC finally take a turtle here? A lot of utility available.
Ooh, wait a second, but a big pin does land on a Keyboy, but he's able to just get away. AP Brennan looking boots into the backside with the Bravest Spider. Gonna get hit by the heavy spin. Kyle Teasy looking for an angle, trying to get in. Kyle Teasy takes the turtle once again. ONIC unable to secure a big neutral objective just yet. Still holding a small lead in gold, but AP Bren is keeping up.
Yeah, I mean, they saw that turtle, they came and they conquered that turtle. AP Bren coming out on top in that go-around, but still, ONIC not letting up on the pressure. You can kind of see
Albert in a little bit of trouble. Ogwin trying to dash in, gets final slash, picks up the kill. Keyboy looking for something, looking for an angle onto Ogwin. Gonna get the I'm offended onto him. Kyrie coming in to help out, dashes in. Looking for another hit. Ogwin may be able to get away from this. Kyrie still trying, but out comes Kyle Teasy from the bush. Kyrie knows he can't get it. He's got to back off.
Up, left, down, right. Ogwin not getting caught here as AP Bren just holding their own. Again, ONIC now kind of being pressured. And I feel like this is where they need to find the momentum to re-pressure AP Bren. You can kind of already see Boots on the Lapu putting on a lot of pressure on the Flap Teasy. And again, this goes to show that the XPs are kind of equal at this point. We're not seeing too much of an early rotation. Turtle now going down to the bottom lane. I feel like the biggest problem ONIC just ran into is that Albert fell right into the little bit of the early game. A tank carry, that's not what you want.
That's definitely not what you want. He's already a level behind Super Marco right now. Super Marco getting the gold from mid and the bot there. Albert does get some shots onto that tower, but it's still nothing major here. I think ONIC needs to understand that he's going to be a critical part of their team. Sans has been able to scale a little bit, 2-0-1, feeling pretty good, hasn't taken a death. Few has taken a death, so mid lane, ONIC is feeling good, but they need to start focusing onto this gold.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not able to stop Super Marco, it could be a little bit of a problem because the Claw's the hardest person to lock down. Now, what I really need to see from the side of ONIC is Sans, man. We need to see that Melina Blitz just absolutely devastate AP, but an engage possibly happening as the Turtle Rubber Band match is engaged.
We'll see what happens here. Kyrie keeping his angle. Boots with the Bravest Spider to the backside onto Few once again. Target locked. Target secured, but no kill. Flap Teasy able to take the turtle. Now Boots too deep, unable to find anyone, and Albert comes in with a blazing Albert comes in with a speedy light wheel. Super Marco, the blazing duo. Members of ONIC are falling. Kyrie, Boots, Sans, Keyboy might just be next. Popsy, I'm offended, trying to hide under the tower, but AP Bren is closing the distance. Albert as well. They found you out. No hiding today. It's a full 5-man wipe. AP Bren taking the wheel.
Had such great positioning by Super Marco. This is what I was saying. Kind of keep an eye on him. He's staying out in the far right. The heavy spin, though Flap TC was able to secure the turtle. The retries didn't even matter at that point, but look at the Vaxana Lord paired with the blazing duet that just pierced the back line of ONIC there, and it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down on ONIC for AP Bren.
I mean, they're going to think this Vexana has been hiding under the blanket for a while now. A lot of teams haven't been focusing her, but AP Bren picks her up every time for a reason. The damage is there, the CC's there. You get an extra hero on the map, and now Keyboy in trouble. The damage is locking on. Kyrie jumps in, looking for the Violent Requiem, looking for Super Marco, but unable to find him, denied, and taken out from Ogwin. The decimation is coming from AP Bren. They're closing in. Boots looking for something, and ONIC seems to be panicking. AP Bren back on the aggressive route, back onto what we saw in game 1. Once they smell blood, once they take a bit of oxygen, there's nothing left. Boots is the next to fall. Super Marco looking for the 1v1. Let's bring it, Albert. AP Bren feeling good about themselves right now. Sans next. They're everywhere. They're glued to him. ONIC falling down, crumbling right now.
And this is where I feel like AP Bren always just flicks the switch, right? They just flick of the switch, right? And now they're going to be able to take this Lord, flick of the switch. And they're going to be able to get this Lord probably uncontested. Now, this time around, I don't know if they have that tanky front line that they are going to need to be able to stop a great siege, though I don't think this Lord's going to make it or break it. It's not enhanced, but again, they don't want to trade their life for measly little towers.
The BREN effect is real, and it is definitely a switch. Whether it comes at 20 seconds in the game, whether it comes at 7 minutes in the game, 10 minutes in the game, you know at some point, AP BREN is going to make their move. And once they do, it's like they immediately just go from chill to hyper-aggressive and just all over. And then once they get to that, it is so hard for any team to break that momentum. You talked about momentum before this series started. G, you said that ONIC could be the team to maybe do that against AP BREN. No one else has been able to do it yet, but right now having a little bit of trouble. AP BREN closing in its grips.
What is Sans
Oh,
doing?
final flash! On the key boy, Few though in a little bit of trouble, gonna get knocked out with a violent Requiem. Finally, Sans finds one, but now Kyrie pinned against the wall, taken off the map. Boots with the bravest fighter, but Super Marco and a blazing duet helped his own away from Boots. The rest of the team chips onto him. Sans throws out Molina, trying to clear the way, but AP BREN still not giving up. Harassing a Lord, still marching down the top side, and it's 10 seconds until Kyrie is back into the land of Dawn. Lord will finally go down. AP BREN still not withholding their assault. Super Marco gonna get one last shot in onto the inhibitor, and AP BREN lets them breathe for a second.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't count ONIC out just yet, because I mean, they have the damage. The gold lead, though, it's not 10K like it was last time. They still seem to have the tenacity that it takes to fight back. The defense is there. What we, again, like I said, we really need to see the Molina be utilized to stop Kaltizi's heavy spin, and I'm not quite sure why it's not being used, to be honest. Like, I'm seeing so many heavy spins just come out, and Nana's just so good at countering that. Now, we can kind of take a look at some items. Kyrie has one items, mixing bits of multiple other items. A conceal play, though.
Steal play on Keyboy. Ogwin looking for the final slash once again to bring him into the team. Keyboy goes down. The recalls come out. The taunts are there. When AP BREN gets in this, man, we saw it the other day in the winning clip. Flapteezy was just screaming, man. The man was yelling. He was talking smack. He was feeling himself. And that's, once again, it's the BREN effect. AP BREN moving in. The Molina Blitz comes out, but it's not stopping them today. AP BREN takes an inhibitor. They back off. It's guerrilla warfare out here.
It is, and I mean, AP BREN is just taking it to ONIC at this point. You can see a complete control. They're gonna probably have the Lord pit here, but wait. Flapteezy.
Flapteezy. He's dipping and diving. He's not. Ooh, but Boots finds the kill. But is it for not or not? The Molina Blitz comes out. ONIC now looking for the play. Kaltizi able to get the pin on two members. Ogwin with the final slash once again. The Guardian comes out. And destruction still reigns. Super Marco trying to get some health out. He's trying to get some health back.
You got it?
ONIC looking for something. Keyboy 1v1 of the Guardian might be losing to that one. It's a bulky boy right there, not someone you want to go up against. Few getting back onto the map now. Lord is delayed ONIC by some time.
The discipline there by Super Marco to not take that kill. I mean, he is 5-0-6. Doesn't want to allow the shutdown. Might as well work on securing his stacks. Looks like they might trade and give him the blue buff. I thought I just heard a conceal play, but nothing really comes out of it just yet. Again, looks like AP BREN might be just utilizing this Lord as a bait. No, they've zoned him out. ONIC just gives it up. What in the world? Yeah. What is going on?
Man. No, it's death if they go in that pit. It's a 10,000 gold deficit. We're very similar to game one where it's like, okay, we need a little bit more time. We need a little bit more time. And this time, we can't make the mistake. We can't let them in. We can't get cut off. They have to watch out for those big plays that AP BREN likes to bring. Last time, it was the combo between Vexana and Minotaur. This time, it's going to be Kaltizi, the final slash from Ogwin, and still the Vexana getting the big knock-up. As long as they can watch out for some of those hits, they can definitely survive this, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, there's a good utilization of the Magic Century there. I think they're just going to take as many tier 3s as they possibly can. Just open up the base a little bit more. Super Marco so low. That is a win for the side of ONIC. That's going to allow them to have a little bit of breathing room as he needs to heal up. So an engage probably not going to be happening here by AP BREN. Though he is full HP. We might see an engage now.
Boots into the backside once again. Boots is like, listen, you guys tell me I'm going, bro. You guys want me to do it? I'm going. Boots has no fear. And I've heard Mirko talk about it before. Like, Boots is the XP laner who's just willing to do it. He's willing to die for the team. And whether you think it's a bad play or not, his plays have been helping ONIC out. The last fight that they almost won, Boots was the starter of her, almost able to take out Few. Again, ONIC just needs a little bit more time that when Boots makes those plays happen, the rest of the team can capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, give it up to ONIC, though. I mean, they were able to hold that so well, and the Melina Blitz was just constantly taking Super Marco down to like 10% HP. Boots is able to do something.
But he's getting chipped away by Marco. Oh, Kyle TC goes down finally. A Bravest Spider lands on a Super Marco. Albert now with Speedy Lightwheel, looking for a target, looking for someone to lock onto. AP BREN knows that with Kyle TC being gone, they've lost some of their front line. It's time to back off. ONIC buys more time.
I mean, that's all they can do at this point, right? Is just keep buying time, maybe secure some of the neutral objectives that are still standing. Like when you can kind of see pushing the minions to do a tower takedown here. Ooh, Kyrie.
He's okay.
Not
He's
able
okay.
to do too much. I was hoping he was going to make a good pick.
No. I think that's one of the downfalls of the Gwen is like, if you're by yourself, like once you go in, you're sitting there, man. If you don't hit Super Marco, you're dead. If he doesn't get Few or Super Marco, like you're dead, man. You're just gonna stand there in Violent Requiem and get out damaged, you know?
I was hoping for it. You never know, man. There's always these big plays that can definitely be the turning tides, but again, it comes down to the patience of the team. Sans in the mid lane, kind of taking a look at some of the items here. I mean, Albert's online, Super Marco's online. I feel like the difference here is that Kyle TZ's 15 and Kyrie's not, having a little bit of trouble in the jungle. Might have
they don't have Albert up here yet either. They might want to try to take this slow. I think ONIC is trying to delay. They look for the play on Flap TZ, but he is able to use the Purify and get away there. Flap TZ still taking some damage. Back home, Boots taking too much. Albert trying to lock on to Ogwin. Going to be able to flicker back. It's still a battle for the Lord Pit. ONIC maybe knows they're outmatched here. They're gonna have to back off once again. Unable to get a kill. They get Few down so low every time, but can't get the finishing hit.
You have to capitalize on some of them, man. That's like, I've seen Super Marco low twice. Now Flap TZ and Pew. Like it's rough. Like if they were able to just kill one of them, this would be even more breathing room. But now a full team comp of AP BREN sieging down ONIC once again. 10K gold lead. Can they survive?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Luckily, they do have two inhibitors. Sans able to clear the ways, throw out him in Lena Blitz. Albert going to chip away at the Lord. They're going to be able to take it down. Unless a huge mistake comes in, they should be able to survive another push here. Boots looking for an angle. Kyle TZ making his way in base. Watch for the final slash, and there it is. Ogwin every time does it. Kyrie forced to go back onto the tower just to get some health back. Ogwin a little bit of trouble though, taken out. Boots able to defend, put the people at bay, keep AP BREN away, but they still are relentless. Super Marco, BMI is away, able to dodge Kyrie. AP BREN still looking for a possible play here. Few ready for the set, ready for the team. Sans throwing out the Melina. Kyle TZ maybe finally deciding to back off with the rest of the team. ONIC lives to see another Lord.
I mean, they're holding their own, but what do they have to do here to be able to possibly take a Lord Pit, right? And I think it's going to come down to that. You can see that they have the damage, but it's still a little rough. Maybe if they're able to get a kill on the Kyle TZ, maybe if we see some of them split apart, we'll have to find out. But my God,
oh, God.
Look at that. Look at that pressure. That is insane.
They need what, like 4 more minutes? They need like 4 more minutes because we're at AP BREN's at 60K. They're about maxed out on items. ONIC needs to get to that 62K mark where all the items are matched out, and then it's just a battle of skill, right? Where they're not at a 10,000 gold deficit. Taking a look at some of the items, Albert, at least the damage dealers for the side of ONIC are essentially maxed out. Albert's got everything in. We're waiting for Sans to finish that last item. Kyrie sitting pretty far behind right now to only 8,600. He is down 2 items right now, so he still has a while to go before where he needs to be.
Yeah, he was down 3, but was able to pick up that Athena shield. And I think that could attribute to that Pew is just doing so much damage in CC that he's not able to survive. And if they're able to just stay alive long enough, maybe they'll be able to get a set on the Super Marco. That's the only thing I can possibly think would be a saving grace right now for ONIC.
Pew with the pew pew. Pew with the pew pew.
I'm telling you.
All right, next Lord gonna be coming up. The clock is running. ONIC made it up to 54K gold. Still about 8,000 till everybody's maxed out, maybe even more because Kyrie's 2 items behind. But ONIC knows this might be their chance. They got to go for something here. They're coming at us straight on. Nobody finding an angle just yet. Kyrie trying to make it. Oh, Keyboy misses the I am offended. That's 1 utility down. Flapteasy and Few also don't have an ultimate anymore, but here comes the concealed play from Ogwin. Ogwin maybe going the wrong way. He's trying to zone away Sans here. Does do his job, though. Kyrie still able to find a way in. Kyle Teasy just making work of the Lord. Kyrie not going to go for it. They got to back off. Flapteasy getting the chip damage. Ogwin comes in. Doesn't have the final slash. Way to use it. Gets one. Keyboy able to get knocked back. Still nobody goes down with Super Marco with the Blazing Duet. Kyrie misses. He's under fire. But he's okay. ONIC still backing off. Flapteasy able to keep them in the base. Stay in your spot. Don't worry. AP BREN's coming soon.
That was a lot of utility baited out right there by the side of ONIC. I mean, they could possibly survive the Lord if they're able to keep it at bay, which I think is going to come down to the combination of Boots being able to zone the back line and Keyboy just keeping the Lord in place. Oh!
A lot of damage on a Flapteasy there. Mortality pops. He's the winner, Truncheon, but he buys enough time. And the double pin from Kyle Teasy. It's going to let the Lord get a little bit closer. Look at the damage on the Keyboy. Hold on. Kyrie able to find Super Marco finally. Once and for all. And Super Marco goes down for the base. It's too low. They had a valiant effort, but it's still not enough. AP BREN takes it to match point.
My God, AP BREN is so disciplined. Being able to just push ONIC against the wall. And I mean, you gotta AP BREN being able to bring it to match point, but ONIC just put up such a great fight. It was just, I mean, it was anybody's game into the early match, and we'll kind of probably jump into some of the highlights and see some of the turning points that definitely caused ONIC to just fall back a little bit. But man, what a game.
Definitely an amazing game. And here's the thing, man. ONIC is doing everything they can. I feel like ONIC is playing the best they can right now. The best any team can play right now. But the BREN effect is just too much, man. Because, I mean, it's not, I mean, ONIC is literally thousands of gold behind, and they're still putting up such a great fight, but it's just not enough. This is when AP BREN really started to just push in more and more. And ONIC, every time Boots in the back line, getting huge stuns like that, getting huge plays like that. But still, it's nothing right now in the face of AP BREN.
Yeah, I mean, they just really couldn't find a moment to be able to take a lot from AP. And like you were saying earlier, even though Boots goes into the back line and dives in a lot, you could just see the combinations and the strategic plays AP BREN brings. Super Marco's patient. Like, look, he could have took out Keyboy right here, but he's not sure who's all under that bush, right? And Albert's there, so could have been a little bit of a rough play for him, but the patience was one with Super Marco. And again, there's Boots diving into the back line, trying to make progress, and the Molina Blitz able to burst down Kyle Teasy. But again, AP BREN still not being like they just, ONIC not able to take advantage of those key spots. Though this was almost a really good play. They split AP BREN apart, but they're, again, Boots all alone trying to keep them at bay, and ONIC not really responding or even able to find a response. And then, oh my God, one shot right there. And this looks like this was the one of the last pushes. Yeah, second to last push. Yeah, so
nice. I mean, even here, ONIC able to defend, able to do well. AB BREN, you know, never really pushing the envelope. They never force it, right? They like we always say, they always feel in control. And even here, Kyle Teasy able to put them both pinned. Kyrie finds Super Marco, but by then it's just too little, too late. The night's getting darker, and the night might be getting darker for ONIC as well, but AP BREN is feeling on fire. Super Marco gonna take the MVP on this Claude. 7, 1 and 8, 28% team damage, and 820 gold per minute. Taking a look at his items, he got the trio in, then goes for the Malic on top of it, picks up the immortality, and by then he's just comfortable, especially once he has the Athena shield to deal with any possible burst damage coming from the Nana.
Yeah, I mean, it was well executed. Super Marco's patience was amazing. AP BREN just knowing when to strategically utilize their kits. And I mean, we can just see it in the whole comp. There's golds all day. And I mean, Kyle Teasy did so well on the Kai, and to just, there was multiple times that he had multiple targets pressed against the wall and nothing ONIC could do. Now, I mean, I felt like ONIC had the ability that they could have came back, but I think it just ultimately, they just didn't have that frontal line, that wall that they needed. You can kind of see that damage taken was Boots and Keyboy, but still a rough time for ONIC. It is now 2-0 match point for ONIC.
No, I don't know. I have to kind of differ. I think ONIC did have the front line. I think the draft was really good for ONIC. I think AP BREN is just playing better tonight, man. I think AP BREN is just right now in a class of their own. Passion. And ONIC is, ONIC just can't buck tonight, man. I mean, ONIC is an amazing team. I got to give it up to them. But right now, AP BREN just feels better.
Yeah, their tempo right now is just high. Like there's even with a comp that ONIC just had to kind of like CC control slow, it still wasn't enough to stop the tempo of AP BREN.
All right, well, after that, we're gonna let the teams rest up for just a second. We're gonna grab a quick water, grab some popcorn, take a break, use the bathroom. We're gonna be right back to the possible match point for AP BREN.
In a world that seeks a balance between metaverses and healthy lifestyle, video games and traditional sport, live shows and web entertainment, we found the only way to harmony. Introducing a new era in the realm of sports, Phigytal, a revolutionary fusion of the physical and digital worlds. This is an unparalleled mix of the most exhilarating and dynamic youth sports disciplines, all integrated with popular video games and cutting-edge technological devices. This unique sports format is accessible to all. Anyone can participate in Phigytal competitions. Any sport has the potential to evolve into a Phigytal experience. Football, basketball, hockey, racing, martial arts, shooters, and many other sports have successfully adapted to the new reality. The 2024 Games of the Future is a global multi-sport event that represents the pinnacle of Phigytal sports worldwide. The event is attended by best clubs and teams, bringing together 2,000 participants from over 100 countries. It marks the beginning of a series of top Phigytal tournaments that will take place annually worldwide. The current official program of Games of the Future includes 21 innovative disciplines. They are classified into 5 groups, which we refer to as challenges: sports, technology, speed, tactics, and strategies, openness, show, fun, and healthy lifestyle. Coming our way is the exciting Phigytal era, So stay tuned, join our global Phigytal community, and come over to the upcoming Games of the Future. Emerge as winners and heroes of the new era. Games of the Future, made for young generations.
All right, G, we are back. It's match point for AP
Grand
BREN.
finals.
Grand finals. Whole lot of money on the line. Whole lot of pride, ego, and everything on the line right here. And AP BREN is trying to make quick work of it. They're trying to get out the cold. They're trying to go back home fast. ONIC trying to delay the process here. At this point, the only way out for ONIC is a clean reverse sweep. They got to win 3 games in a row, and it doesn't feel very good in their favor. I'm hoping that they can at least take 1 here, maybe take 2, maybe try to take 3, just for the sake of Mobile Legends Esports, for the sake of the hype of these games. But right now, AP BREN just looks good. And, you know, there's something I want to talk about. AP BREN last year did something that, you know, some people would call, like, the golden road, right? Like, ONIC was looking for the Grand Slam. They were looking for MPL season. They were looking for MSC, and they were looking for Worlds. Whereas when we looked at ONIC, they had taken ISF, they had taken SEA Games, and then they took Worlds. And now they're over in Russia, trying to take another one, just really cementing their legacy overall. They got rent paid at their boot camp for a very long time right now.
Who, ONIC or AP, huh?
AP.
It is true. It is true. I mean, what we're seeing is that just AP is just on a whole nother level right now. And they were able to take the crown from the Kings, right? And I feel like this is, again, if we see it, they're going to have to... ONIC's just going to have to break that tempo, right? Like, they're going to have to come up with some type of strategic comp to break it. But at this point, like, AP's just singing a tune, a whole different tune, and ONIC just can't get on that frequency. It's a hard time for him.
I'm losing G for a second. He's like... I love your facial expression.
It's the digital taking over me.
It's the digital. It's the digital. He's turning into a game of future.
I need my physical back. There we go.
We're back. We're back. All right, let's cut to the chase. Do we think AP BREN clean sweeps this?
I mean, from the tempo that I've seen, yeah. I mean, they can pull out anything, and it seems like they're just countering every avenue that ONIC has and anything they attempt to try to take, right? Like they've done try to do, you know, like a little bit of the defensive approach, have a little bit of strategicness to it, and it didn't work. They just attempt to try to do of course, like a more of a slow approach to try to control AP BREN. And of course, again, they just at certain moments, the flick of the switch, and they just become like monster BREN or something. I don't know. You can't stop them once they're on that stride.
It's true. I mean, right now they're just continuously getting the better of ONIC, man. Like, we were wondering, oh man, they're giving up the Guinevere, and they were ready for it. At this point, I don't feel like it matters what ONIC picks. They just have to not let that switch get hit, man. And when the switch does get hit, they can't let it hurt them. And when the switch happened was AP BREN got like a full team wipeout, and ONIC had the lead in the laning phase. They were feeling really good about themselves, but then it happened, right? Like you like to say, the switch was flipped. AP BREN gets the full team wipeout, and from there on, AP BREN was everywhere. Once they find that moment, they are all over them, not giving them any time to breathe, and it was just a repeat of game number 1. So ONIC, I'm almost wondering, it's like maybe last Valiant efforts just take things really slow, man. Just don't even try to force fights in the beginning. I don't know. They got to figure something out here, because this could be the end. This could be the end of the grand finals for them.
Yeah, match point. I mean, what The only thing I can possibly think of is that ONIC just needs to stop making those micro mistakes that they are, because the moment they do, that's how the team wipe occurred, right? Like, they attempted to try to break and split AP, but then they also split themselves in the last game, which caused a little bit of a downward spiral for ONIC at that point. So I think it's just coming down to the fundamentals. Like, just keep it going. Don't, again, like you said, take it a little bit slower if you're not able to, you know, handle such a fast pace at this point, because AP BREN is aggressive. They are hungry, and again, I don't know if they got like spy glasses or something, but the moment a mistake is made, they are engaged.
Very, very fair. Do we think that, so the way that Boots is playing right now, like so aggressive, do we think he needs to tone that down a bit as well? Like, I understand where he's coming from. He's looking for the trades, right? Because when you're behind 5,000 in gold, a trade is a trade. And if you just lose Boots, but you're able to find Few or you're able to find Super Marco, it is worth it, right? It is like a 1-for-1 when you're behind in gold is a pretty decent, it's kind of a win, right? Especially when you're that far behind. But I think at some point they have to know when to kind of like put on the chill. And I'm wondering if Boots maybe also needs to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Boots definitely was diving into the back line multiple, like I could count like 3 times that they were attempting to try to just make a play. And I think maybe that could have caused, you know, a little bit of a disruptance on ONIC's half. Like, they done lost their EXP lane, and again, that's one of the frontal lines that they had, right? So they with the Arlot, or not the Arlot, the Lapu just going down, it just left ONIC wide open. So I felt like it was good, but maybe not as well calculated as I'd like to see. So coming into the next series, maybe not being so aggressive, maybe diving into the front line instead of back line could be a little bit of a better approach. That way you have your team behind you. I feel like those are what we need to take a look at. Now, I think the slow approach is probably what we want to go for, but I also think like a slow approach with some control like they did last game, because I felt like they got baited into the Guinevere, and I said this like that, but it looks like I might be lagging a little bit again.
A little bit. Sorry, we still love you, G. You still look great, I promise. And and yeah, we're gonna be waiting. We're gonna be waiting on this draft. So 2-0. I want to take a look at some of the picks since we have some time. If I can get them to load up real quick. With the way things have gone, we've seen the Nolan get let up. My guess is most likely AP BREN will be on blue side this time. Maybe I'm wrong. If it was decided that the loser get to pick their side, then maybe ONIC will take blue side again. There's a pick that's really been throwing me for a loop, and it's that Vexana pick. I think it's been one of the major things causing ONIC issues, man. Honestly, every time they try to come in, they're just able to stop the engage with the CC. They get terrified, they get knocked up, whatever it is. Either way, it always ends up kind of being a problem. And I'm wondering, like, is there a possible thought of throwing that off? Because Few's just playing it so well, from the zoning capabilities of it in the laning phase, able to make sure that Keyboy is not able to get too aggressive, not able to move too much in. Is that something that maybe ONIC want to throw in their bans? Maybe just do a bit more targeting in game 3 and leave some more things open, because at this point it's like, we know, all right, it doesn't matter whether they have Nolan or they don't have Nolan. It doesn't matter whether you have Gwen or you don't have Guinevere. You haven't been able to win, and it's kind of sad that it's just a best of 5 and we're already at match point, because you don't have. If it was a best of 7, you could maybe risk one more game, right, and then try to pull something off. But you're kind of on the line here, so. That's been a pick that's really been kind of standing out to me. AP BREN has been focusing that Vexana pick for a while now throughout this bracket, and I think AP BREN believes it's really strong, or else they wouldn't pick it every single time. So I think we're at a point where maybe ONIC wants to look at that. It's the only pick that's been completely consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vexana is definitely one of those mage. Like, she has Terrifies, she has CCs, the Undead Knight that she drops is just, it's like adding an additional person on the playing field. So I do think that it would probably be a good option to definitely throw it in the ban phase. But again, I think it just comes down to what you were stating earlier, is that the overall just the hero pool of AP BREN is just hard to match. Like, even if you're gonna ban the Vexana, they're just gonna pick something else out, right? I mean, you'll have the Lilia, you'll have the Nana, you'll have, there's just so many good mages. Fairmiss, I mean, I think we've seen Fairmiss banned almost every time, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
again, so I think it's just more of that it's really hard to ban out a team like AP BREN. So I think if you're not coming with a plan to immediately toss and throw AP BREN around, like you're just ultimately going to have a hard time, from what I'm seeing at least, right? And again, I think it just comes down to that you just have to just be better. You have to control the lanes.
Get good, kids.
That's what I'm saying, right? And sometimes it could just come down to maybe coming together. Stop focusing on the turtles, right? Like, give the turtles to AP BREN. Focus on taking towers, because in every game we've seen, ONIC had like maybe one tower. In the last game, I don't think ONIC had any towers taken down. So it just goes to show that you got to focus on maybe like trade things. You know, I feel like that's the biggest thing that you have to look at here. And I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think there's a lot of variables, and in the end, yeah, I mean, in the end, ONIC, because that's what AP BREN is doing. Like, they're not too, like, yes, they're drafting wonderfully, but they're definitely also just kind of getting the outplays. Even when they're behind, they're winning out on fights and stuff. So ONIC's got to find an answer to it. A lot of eyes really on this game right now.
I feel like they're really strategizing right now. Like, this is do or die. Like, what do we pull out of our sleeves to just, like, you know, knock the socks off of AP BREN? Like, I feel like that's the ultimate decision ONIC has to make here, is do we go risky? Do we just take it textbook? What are our options? We've been pushed back against the wall. We've fought back, and it's just been a little tough for them. Unless,
fair. I mean, if G the Ico was in the coaching position right, he'd just be like, "Get good, yo. Hey, yo, get good. Get out there. I'm telling you. Pick whatever you want.
Stop making mistakes.
Stop making mistakes. Hey, you stop that, all right? Which one of us? Just you, all right? Fair, yep. Fair, very, very fair, very fair. You know, as I was saying, a lot of people are watching right now. We got a lot of eyes on this game right now, since we have some time. You know, we got all the boys back home watching. We got a lot of players watching. I'm excited, man. I think the possibility is definitely there for ONIC to be able to take this game back and maybe give us another one. We've seen them do it before. You know, you were mentioning M5 earlier, and they took a loss, they took a win. They were sitting at match point against AP BREN in the World Championships, and were able to come back and take 2 games and bring us to a Game 7. So it's definitely not out of the book, but as momentum is, they have to be able to shift that. They have to be able to, because right now AP BREN is feeling themselves, man. They are just, and they're a team that you can see them when they're on camera, man. They're a team that they feed off of that, man. When they start getting the better of you and the way they play the game, you can tell their pace just gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And then once they get you down to the breaking point, they have all the inhibitors gone. That's when it's like, okay, we back off for a second. And then they get back, like they're so good at moving between the aggression to discipline, aggression to discipline, aggression to discipline. And it's, you know, it's the BREN effect, baby. We're going to coin that.
You're going to coin it, huh? The BREN effect.
Coin it. Yeah. The BREN effect.
We need the Trex effect. Where's that at?
The Trex effect is here. Waiting for the next game. Waiting for the next game.
All right. No, and I mean, I can understand it, right? Like It's a tough game for ONIC, right? Like what they've done in the past to kind of change some of the tides around is that I think they need a more aggressive gold lane, right? Like the carry just is too frontal. I think maybe they can pull out the Wan, you know, like pull out something that could possibly change the tide, something of the sorts, you know.
Oh, there goes G again. All good. So yeah, right now, still just waiting. I definitely think they need something that can change the tides of this match. G, you look great as a microphone. The microphone actually matches your tie, G. So I just want to say that. It actually kind of looks like G. There's his little arms. We're just going to wing this here. So yeah. Here we go. Still waiting on AP BREN up against ONIC. I'm guessing both teams are taking their time for sure. I mean, like we said, this is the biggest prize pool we've ever seen. Big shout out to all the watch parties around right now. Mirko, Naisu, I see you guys. DJY, Chicken back home, all my boys. We're having a lot of fun up here. Just waiting on G the ICO to reconnect real fast. And yeah, I think at this point, like me and G have said time after time again, as we've been trying to say time after time again, AP BREN, I mean, ONIC just needs something. It sounds like G is back with me. I can hear him. You are. Don't know where you're. Hopefully soon.
I don't know. I'm just hitting some ninjutsu, man. I'm just like, you know, disappearing and reappearing, you know. Bam! Good looking's back. What's up?
Good looking's back. The microphone actually matched your tie. I'm just going to say, man. The microphone actually matched your tie. So it kind of looked like you.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, at least when we're in game, we're able to, you know, just deal with what we have to. I'm not sure what's kind of going on here, but we'll get through it, I think. But
I think G honestly just left me, guys. I think he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go grab a glass of water real fast. I'll disconnect real quick. It's like doing it on purpose over here. He's just been messing with me all night, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was the cat.
All right, so here we are at GOF Podcast. I'm going to do it like they do over in MPL Indonesia when the breaks get very long. We're just going to hang out and talk, you know? Let's break it down because we talked a lot about ONIC and AP BREN. What have been some of your top teams so far in GOFG?
I mean, so
like other than AP BREN and ONIC, what have been like some of the big games? You've casted a lot more games than me. What were some of the exciting moments for you?
I mean, most of the exciting moments I would say definitely happened in like the playoff area, you know, like I was voting for Blacklist International and then Flux just like sweeps the rug out from underneath of them, which was just, it blew my mind away. Another one was that Deuce Vaults, I thought they were going to, you know, in the upper bracket. I'm actually a little surprised what I'm seeing here. I think this is the wrong thing I'm looking at here. There we go. Burmese Ghouls, Twisted Minds. Twisted Minds actually looked really good. Like if I'm not mistaken, they actually took, I think they took a game against AP, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, they took a game against Homeboys. And I was like, you know, that was wild. I was like, okay, so Twisted Minds definitely came here to fight. Something that really surprised me was Team Little Gun, like getting knocked out in the group stage. Like that blew me away. I was like, I do not know what happened to him. But that was a big surprise. Team Little Gun
still needs, I think it's almost kind of sad because there was like so much hype around Team Little Gun before M5 and before the wild card, and because they got a really good, I forget what team they went up against, but they got a really big win, and it was either ESL or some qualifiers. They got like a really big win against a big Filipino team or something, and there was like a lot of hype built around them, and I think it was almost too much hype because now it's like I think a lot of people feel like there's this big disappointment in them when really it's like they're still a decent team. They've still done well, but maybe it was just a little people were kind of overdoing it around Team Logan. I think they still need some time, maybe a roster change or two. They do have the same exact roster from M5 still for this, and still weren't able to make it out of group stage. I think we can still see a lot from them.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think it'll just come down to, I think the biggest surprise I had for this tournament was just not even the overall teams, but the overall like choice of the meta, how like diverse everything's been. It's not been so one-sided that we've always seen, like, you know, like we're seeing here. Normally teams are not able to fight back after a certain point, but you can definitely tell that teams have the grit, they have the knowledge to be able to just fight back from what we've been seeing. And I like that even if a team's behind 10,000 gold, like it could just, you know, flip, and they just have the overall strategic qualities to be able to flip the game like that. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've seen from a lot of the matches in this tournament, is that the teams are they're learning, and you can tell which ones learn on the fly.
I like it. I think a lot of teams have done that. I think with the amount of events that have been going on, even from last year where MSC started to include multiple regions, now we have this with multiple regions. A lot of these regions are also getting a lot more international experience. They're getting more experience against some of the best teams in the world, more experience against Philippines, more experience against Indonesia, more experience against Malaysia, more experience against the Southeast Asia region in general, which essentially, whether we like it or not, is the heart of Mobile Legends, right?
Right.
So teams like Fireflux are now getting a chance to shine. Teams like RCC are starting to get a chance to shine. We're going to be taking a quick break for a second, if I heard correctly. We'll be tuning in very soon to get back to this game. Thank you guys for watching. Take a second to get yourself ready.
Games of the future. Games future. Games of the future.
All right, here we are back once again. G, doing a little dance, doing a little jig.
Yeah,
Is
you
that the
didn't
AP Bren's
hear
gonna
that,
win, Jake?
that video? Like you don't feel like you should dance after that video?
I will say this. Games of Future has had some great background music. I will say that. They've had some like deep trance music. We were watching and we were all like, everybody put your hands. Yeah, you get it. It was definitely a vibe. It was definitely a vibe. So we're gonna be jumping. We're finally, hopefully, gonna be jumping into AP BREN match point up against ONIC here. A lot of people are waiting. We got the Philippines up at like 1 a.m. right now. I mean, personally, us here in NA, we stay up till about 5 a.m. to watch our games, but it's so I don't want to hear those complaints. I checked in with some of the boys. They're all waiting as well. Everyone's happy. We got a lot of half asleep streams going on. A lot of people waiting for this game. A lot of anticipation. Can AP BREN close this out and let us all go to bed early?
And I think I mean, that approach, okay. I'm not going to bed, but I'd like ONIC to actually come back. I'd like to see them. I don't know, like do something that just, again, is out of pocket. Just something that just blows like everybody's mind. Something of the sort.
Get crazy at this point, right? Like, what do you have to lose? Just go for it.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, and I feel the same way. I think the moment that ONIC turns this around is the moment all of us reinvest, right? Like nobody wants to see a 3-0 sweep, but once it gets to that point, when we're at like game 3 and like AP BREN has, I mean, the reality is AP BREN has been kind of dominating these past 2 games. They've been dominating just like they've dominated the teams that have fallen before them in the bracket. So ONIC, to kind of re-spark the fire of all of us, has to do something big here, has to turn this around. And the moment they do, that's when all eyes are open again. All of us are happy, ready to go, surprised, and wanting this to happen, G.
Yeah, the digital world just doesn't love me right now. I don't know what it is.
Okay, we can still hear you on the mic.
Okay, all right. The physical and the digital are coming together right now, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like, kind of just like what I just said. I feel like they definitely should be pulling something out of the hat, like match point, vice versa. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get into the games here soon.
Hopefully we will get into the games here soon. Was trying to catch the drafts and bans. Here we go. They're finally up. So, like I said earlier on, we were talking about AP BREN, the Vexana pick. It was crucial. It's been the only pick that has stayed the same. So I do think that could be something that ONIC can look at here. Even if it's not super meta, I think few is just that good on it. On the side of ONIC, also have not picked anything similar. So we know they're trying. They're trying different things. Draft 1, they went for the CC, the Fredrin, the Novaria, the Claude, and the Arlot. And then draft 2, we completely switch it up. We go for the Lapu, the Guinevere, the Nana, the Carry, and the Ruby. I think game 2, the opportunity was there. They just kind of missed in the execution. They kind of fell apart after the laning phase. Once AP BREN flipped the switch, it was on them. So I think they could honestly do something similar to draft number 2. They just have to execute it a little bit better.
Yeah. And I kind of want to know, like, your opinion on it, that ONIC keeps being in the Xborg, and we're seeing every other EXP lane come out. I mean, we've seen the R-Lot, we've seen the Glue. At this point, is the Exborg a viable ban? Like, are they that scared of it that, like, they should maybe ban out the Vexana instead, or, you know, something like that, kind of just building off of your band?
I mean, the Exborg ban normally is in the second phase. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's not like they're, like, prioing it. And by the time you get to second phase, Vexana's already up, right? So if they're gonna use a ban on the Vexana, they have to either drop something like the they have to drop the Matilda, they have to drop the Matilda, they have to drop the Fermis, something like that. They have to drop something major, right? Last game they went for the Minnow, Matilda, and Fermis. So it's not like they aren't willing to switch it up. The game before that, they banned a Phoveus. It's not like they're the ones banning everything super meta. Like, they're throwing some off-brand picks in here and there. So I think this time, what it's really going to come down, like, I think, yes, they could throw the Vex on. I think they could leave things pretty open, maybe even not ban out the Matilda and go for the trade-up. Definitely a lot of possibilities out there. I think at this point, when we're coming into Game 3, I mean, it's not unheard of for either of these teams to just leave a lot of meta picks open. And I think that might be the answer here. That could be the opportunity here. So we'll see exactly how it goes. Welcome back, G, once again. It seems the Games of the Future doesn't like you. This is true. I know you're trying. I feel ya. You're just leaving me hanging. I'm also trying my best. Having a blast right now. You know? We're podcasting, man.
Yeah. We kind of left it off on the Exborg ban when I disconnected. Was and I'm guessing that we're kind of at that point that it's just like, yeah, it's viable, but because it's like,
let G talk. Hashtag let G talk in the chat, please. We're gonna jump back into a video, I think. Think so? Oh, we're jumping into the draft, baby. Okay, G leaves me. All right, G, you can just stay away. You know what? It's okay. We finally get in the draft the moment that G leaves. I'm okay with that. Here we are, AP BREN up against ONIC. If I got to solo it, I will. No fear at all. We're going to jump into the bans, and ONIC is going to be on the red side this time, second pick. They ban out the Matilda. They ban out the Nolan on the side of AP BREN. AP BREN bans out the Vexana. Literally seeing into the future a bit here, literally changing things up here a little bit, kind of making the play myself, and it just also goes to show that they're not like they're just not worried about it. Gee, it's okay, man. I don't even need you anymore, bro. I got this. The game's back on. That's all you ever were. That's all you ever were, G. You were just a blue mic all along. So now, ONIC on the third ban here. Still need to figure something out. Novaria gonna get picked up. Gonna get banned out from AP BREN. ONIC at this point. Now that things have changed up, the Gwynny's still open. I think with ONIC, they're going to ban out the Gwynny. I think that's a safe pick. They got to still play it safe. They decided not to leave a lot open because they went for the Matilda and the Nolan band. So at this point, you kind of have to ban it. You have to commit to fully just meta bans. AP BREN up front. The R-Lot could be a possibility here. The Nana could be a possibility here as well. AP BREN has really been focusing on the R-Lot. I think it's something they find very viable in the current meta. So I think it could definitely be a solid up front ban for them. But no, the Fermis has finally been left open for ONIC, and now we're seeing why AP BREN sees this as viable. I feel like ONIC has to respond with the Claude here, hopefully, to kind of counter the Fermis. Also, you take it away from Super Marco. We saw how well Super Marco did on it before. They go for the Minotaur. Also viable. I think at this point, BREN maybe picked up the Claude for themselves so that ONIC can't respond with it. The Minotaur also works against Fermis, right? Because we get the big Minoan's Fury when they are grouped up. Not to mention, they get the taunt from the Fredrin. So ONIC having a front line now just kind of need to build out the rest. AP BREN still has a lot of options on their plate if they want to go for it. Still has a lot of things that they can do. Try to see what they pick. And AP BREN, it's so hard to guess. They go for the CC and they go for the Basha. So we've got some heavy mobility. They also have kind of formed their front line, but theirs has a little bit more damage so far. They have the CC. Flapteezy has just been a monster on this. It's like Flapteezy, no matter what you put him on, whether you want him on a heavy dive, heavy CC composition, you could put him on a glue, whatever, it all seems to work out, or something like the CC that can just zone and harass and cause damage to something like the Fredrin, something like the Minotaur. It is definitely a great answer here. ONIC, on the other hand, decides to pick up the Lilia, another decent counter to the Fermis, dropping the Gloom, getting AoE damage to multiple members. Also, a nice defense against big pushes. If AP BREN's able to get some of those first Lords, you can set up all of those glues to kind of help clear the ways when they're coming at you. Second phase of bans is coming in. ONIC gonna ban out the Grok here, and also gonna ban out the X-Borg. Still waiting on another ban from the side of ONIC. Do they continue to go into the Roam? Aiko, I know you're just getting back. Feel free to get a grip on everything. AP BREN has picked up the CC, the Basha, and the Fermis. ONIC, on the other hand, has picked up the Fredrin, the Minotaur, and the Lilia.
Wow. All right. AP BREN picked up the Fermis this time around,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, everything.
Right.
So ONIC decided to go for a full meta ban with the Matilda, the Noland, and the Guinevere. And I completely forgot that the Fermis has been banned every time, and it was literally first picked by AP BREN. So ONIC obviously knows something not everyone else do. This is something that AP BREN is heavily focused on.
This is what I suspected, like, if they were going to ban out the Vexana. Like, and the crazy part is AP BREN banned out the Vexana, right? So, like, it's a little
It's almost
wild
like AP
that they
BREN
went that
knew,
route.
man. It's almost like
Yeah.
everyone's like, listen, we're going to ban the Vex this time because they're going to give us the Fermis.
Yeah.
It's like, it's disgusting, honestly. It's so disgusting.
And they're going for like a pretty sustainable build. I mean, we still have the Claude is still open. So like if they run Claude once again, Super Marco is just gonna excel at it. I feel like. No, this is a respect in, right? Like Boots Lapu was probably the most annoying part to ONIC last match.
Boots Lapu was definitely important for ONIC. They banned it out. Still, I mean, he could go for, if he still wants something divey, he could go for something like Teresa. He could pick up the glue here. That's what AP BREN did against the CC. I don't know if Boots is going to be able to run it or not, but he could get a little crazy, pick up something like that. Definitely still several possibilities for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see the X-Borg ban once again. I feel like ONIC did that last time, not AP BREN. So, I mean, it's still a good go.
Well, and the X-Borg would have been a decent answer to the Fermis as well. ONIC has already picked up a few with the Minotaur and the Lilia. They opt to go for the Brody here instead of the Claude, which, okay. I mean, the Brody does pack a punch. Yeah, definitely a little interesting. I mean, it's not a horrible pick. Definitely needs some scale. I mean, it definitely needs, like, Brody has kind of the snowball effect. I think if Brody dies, if Brody gets picked off in early game, it can be a very rough game for Brody. If Brody picks up a kill or two in the early game, he can be very deadly.
I could see it. I feel like what is AP BREN's response, right? Like, I mean, to be honest,
whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever they want,
God.
man.
Whatever they want. This is their game. Nah, I mean, the Claude, the Carrion, and the Angela.
Oh, man. They're getting spicy. Support
Yeah.
Angela, mid Fermis, or support Fermis, mid Angela. Putting a lot on the line. I mean, my guess is it's going to end up being a mid Fermis, because eventually Fermis damage does get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But the sustainability on this team right now, and just the combinations of the Angela Basha, Angela CC, Angela Carry, all of it looks good right now. ONIC picks up another big AoE hero, trying to counteract everything that AP BREN is going to bring.
Yeah, I think they're really focusing on like the speed aspect, especially with the Angela and the Bashia. I mean, you can already see a lot of ONIC like team comp relies on like hitting your target, right? And I guess if target's not there to hit, like it's going to be a little bit harder to go about. And I feel like that's what the Lilia is going to have a hard time on. But again, I mean, it's a fair miss. You got an Angela, like I feel like if I was ONIC, like I need to start baiting out utilities left and right when I can.
Most definitely. And now with it, the wait is finally over. We're going to be jumping into match point. And like you said, the draft, I think a big win con for the side of ONIC here is going to be some early game aggression. You got a pretty squishy mid side on the side of AP BREN, right? You don't have a big heavy roam. You've got a Fermies and an Angela. On the other hand, look at ONIC, and they've got the Minotaur and the Lilia. We know how deadly this combination can be. We saw it from Flux before. It's one of the ways that they won their games. It is definitely something that you can get into the face of your enemies, and ONIC needs to make sure that just because they took some harsh losses, they got taken advantage of in game 1 and 2, they need to not be scared to get aggressive, because I think that could be huge for them here, trying to immediately shut down the pace of AP BREN.
True. And I mean, it is what it is, and we will find out as I think we're going to be diving into the Land of Dawn after we look at the crowd for one final last time, possibly.
Whoa. Well, yeah,
possibly,
good save.
Possibly. Look at is the crowd like mixtures of happy
Shout out
and
to
sad?
Musa Mafia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are chat people's names, like people's names above the robots.
That is
Games of Future
cool.
is calling you all bots right now.
That guy is cheesing.
He's feeling good. He's ready for the game. I'm ready for the game. Hopefully we didn't jump right into a pause. We'll see.
Possibly.
Taking our time.
This arena's massive.
This arena is pretty massive. We need some more seats full, though, man. Where's all the ball? We got Reza, Farizi.
Look at that guy.
I love how these guys take each other out at the same exact time. We're back.
Oh.
Back on screen, baby.
We're the arena. What's up, guys?
Want to go, bro?
What side you on? I mean, we would be battling on the mid there. Apparently, the arena is mid lane only. Mid lane, everybody goes mid.
Everybody goes mid.
Wow.
It's like a brawl. It's like a brawl.
Yeah.
Big brawl battle.
It's gonna be more of like a ranked brawl, but yeah.
Ranked brawl.
Yeah, ranked brawl.
But what? You thought we were about to jump into the Land of Dawn?
Nope.
We saw the portal. You thought we were going? You thought we were going, huh?
Hey!
Not today.
Aw. We don't even get an arena now.
You guys want to trick it? You guys want to... He was so excited.
Don't push me down. Don't push me down. Not when I'm up, man. Not when I'm up. But we can go. I mean, we've seen the draft, right? I mean, I feel like just to kind of get into a quick hot take, you know, like the Boxia Angela, right? Oof. Right? That's going to be a little bit harder.
Boxia Angela.
It's going to be a little bit harder to deal with when you're a Fred. I feel like essentially that's why AP BREN ended up going that route, was just to farm the jungle a little bit faster and just go ham.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. I really think ONIC the major win. Like I said, the major win con is they need to get aggressive. They're not going to be able to really pick on Basha per se, but I think if in the first like level 2, level 3, level 4. Maybe even, maybe before level 4, before the Angela or the Fermi spike, they can try to make a play in the mid, have the opportunity to do that. They definitely have a lot of aggression on their side. They have a lot of damage, a lot of level 1, level 2, level 3 damage.
Yeah, true. I think that's where the Lilia scales as well, right? Just early, mid poke. But to be honest, like, where's their burst at? Like, I mean, the Brody is about the only burst paired with the Lilia. I feel like they're going to be lacking a little bit of damage. Like it's very, very precise, I would say.
I think they have damage for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, unless Brody completely falls off, but even Lilia can carry, man. Lilia's a monster. She's a monstrous little girl there. And then you have the AoE damage, you have the answer to the Fermi. So like the possibilities are there. It's just can they execute it right? And we know how AP BREN, like so far we've seen, even when ONIC seems to maybe have the advantage, the BREN effect happens and they are down. But in the draft, I do think that they probably could have picked something different than the Brody maybe, but it's still viable.
Yeah, I mean, the Brody's really good at stopping enemies from escaping with the torn apart memories. So maybe that's an attempt to, you know, put a little bit of pressure onto the gold lane, apply something, and we'll definitely have to see. I wonder what's kind of going on with the two teams. I feel like it's the last match and
some technical issues. I mean, it seems like they jumped into it, so my guess is we went right to a pause. Some sort of ping issues, something like that, you know. So yeah, we'll just wait it out. We got to make sure everybody plays fairly. Everybody has the same opportunity. It is match point. There's a lot of money on the line, so it makes sense.
Repetition. Yeah. We'll see.
Play this. We will become pros at killing time by the end of this.
Or is time killing us?
A little bit of both. Time's always killing us, G.
Hey, look, listen, yesterday I was Pastor G. Today I'm just truths.
You still look like Pastor G, though.
Do I? I don't know, dude. Blue,
you look
at
good,
the
man.
pasture?
You look good. Blue, you got the blue lights behind you. You got the baby blue tie on to match the suit. What are those patterns on your shirt, G?
They're flowers.
They're flowers. That's cool. That's cute.
Yeah, I know.
I have dinosaurs on my tie.
It's just my tie is pretty plain.
This is what we're going to. At this point, you know.
Hey. I mean, it's all coming down to, like, I mean, this is the last game, maybe. Who knows? But there's, like, I mean, the possibilities are just going to be coming down to how the players play in the game, you know? Like, use your strategic comp to your advantage, and we'll see. All I know is my Instagram's actually going absolute nuts right now. I don't know who posted it, but there's a lot of followers coming in.
There are some technical problems on Arena right now. We're just waiting. That's pretty much the word right now. So yeah. I would love, you know? I mean, at this point, it's like, hey, has anyone heard about NACT? It's going to be happening in like 2 weeks. Feel free to tune in. What region are you tonight? Most? Top 16 is tonight for.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Anyways, what are you gonna be tuning into this year, G? Are you like are you gonna be watching any MPLs? Are you gonna be like what region are you most excited to watch?
You know, I'm dude, you don't understand what my Instagram is doing right now. I'm like receiving tons of messages. It's crazy.
Nice. Are they telling you how white you are?
I'm gonna have to like mute my computer or something. The notifications are going off the chart.
Oh, first blood! First blood! We made it!
Let's go, baby!
Here we go!
Let's roll!
Oh God, I'm about to toss my chair around. That's what I'm talking about, boys. ONIC also starting off aggressive. First blood onto Oakwin already.
Let's get it. First blood onto ONIC. Who got it though? The San. Okay, the Lilia. Let's get it. Mid lane slaying. All right, I like it.
We're about to get wild, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, last day of the grand finals. Let's
Games of future, baby.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. We can see Let's take a look at some of the win conditions here, right? So I think really what's coming down is that Ugwin ended up getting taken out, right? Early stage. That's a little rough for an Angela, but not going to be the make it or break it for team comp. I mean, Kyle TC's level 3, while we're looking at Kyrie's level 4. So we're already seeing a little bit of a jungle difference for the side of ONIC, which is good, right? I mean, you got 14 seconds to the next turtle, but that's what you want to see into the early stage. And when you're dealing with a Bosch, that's just what you want to do. You want to out jungle him because he has a lot of pressure.
Most definitely, but AP BREN not trying to let up. A little bit of dash through Boots, able to get a bit of damage on a Flap Teasy there. Basan's also taking a face full of yo-yos. Back of the turtle, Kyle Teasy able to take it right out of Kyrie's hands. Well played from AP BREN, keeping himself in the game, and that's what they do. Even when they're behind, they make sure that they get the objective when they need it to make sure the goal doesn't get too far away.
Yeah, and so what I'm really seeing right now is that everybody's roughly about even, right? I mean, first turtle, what is that, going over to the side of ONIC?
First turtle, no, over the side of AP BREN. Over the side of AP BREN.
AP BREN, okay, so Retri was able to be landed. AP BREN coming out on top there, and I think this is what was happening in the last game, right? Like, it was just a little bit hard for Kyrie to hit these retries, and I'm not quite sure what could be causing that. I mean, AP just able to zone and properly keep them at bay. And if they can keep that up, it's going to be a little bit of a trouble for ONIC. Now, ONIC side, right? They have the sustainability. They have, like you were saying, I mean, they have damage. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to penetrate a Fairness Coulter, and I'm not even quite sure if it's going to be able to get past the Angela, right? Like, I just feel like the whole comp of AP BREN is thick. Like, look.
Yeah, a little bit of a play up top. Boots in a bit of trouble here. Gonna go down. Flap TC able to pick up the kill. Now, on the side of ONIC, they got to respond 1-1. AP BREN has taken the gold lead. Is this the BREN effect? Is this the switch that flips?
I think this is the switch that gets flipped.
That was a tongue twister.
That was a tongue. I was like, hold up. Like, what did you just say? Yeah, it was
Listen,
definitely
we've been here a while.
twister.
It's 0 IQ desk right now. We're on the 0 IQ desk. We're vibing. We're feeling it. Let's go.
We're just vibing at this point, 100%. We can already see, I like this, right, from the side of ONIC. They're already setting up this turtle, but they have to be able to secure this turtle. Let's see it, Kyrie.
Kyrie
they get it.
Trying to get the zone onto Flap Teasy. Kyle Teasy, though, making his way around. Boots looking for an angle as well, able to dash through. Kyle Teasy finally comes in, but no Fury connects, and the flicker gets the knock up. Keyboy able to pull another one, but the damage is shredding him down. Boots gonna be the next to fall. Super Marco picking up the kill. Kyrie able to take it, though. They're trying to fight back. Albert in the backside doesn't have the torn apart memories anymore. It's 2 for 1 right now. ONIC finds the turtle, but loses the extra member.
I mean, not too bad. We can kind of look at what the engage entailed here. The Minerals Rage with a flicker definitely secured quite a bit of CC for the side of ONIC, but then the final slash connects. And then, of course, the torn apart memories just take down AP BREN little by little, and Albert was able to take out Caltesi. I feel like that was the grace that they can get. That's a little bit of the breathing room ONIC needed, and that just slows down the enemy jungle a little bit. And Blashia is able to just jungle crazy. We can kind of take a look at some of the items. Molten cores picked up by both jungles, which are clutch. And then you're also looking at Albert. Already has the Blade of Hep, which is just insane first poke damage. So again, ONIC could be doing a little bit of peel here. We can already see it's 2v2 in the gold lane. I think the Brody right now is definitely winning against the carry, but I think Super Marco is definitely going to be coming out on top when it comes into the mid to late game, but we'll see. I think it's going to come down to Keyboy just giving that pressure and helping his gold lane.
All right, now both teams still making work. AP BREN has definitely bought some time. You mentioned that, and I think that's exactly what they needed. Super Marco getting plenty of time to scale. Flapteasy already having the War Axe in, not having to go super defensive in the beginning, kind of like what we saw for Boots previously when he had to pick up the Dread armor before he got the War Axe. This means that Flapteasy is going to be able to kind of play the front line, and when you have something like the Fermis paired up with you, that you can just hang out even longer and just continuously harass with that skill, it becomes a problem. But second turtle, now, or third turtle now in, we're 6 minutes in. Gold still at an immediate tie. They're looking for Flapteasy here. Albert able to get a couple of free shots here. Keyboy with the Minoan's Fury once again gets knocked up with the Netherrealm. Connects Kyrie, able to take the turtle. Heartguard does lock onto Flapteasy. He's going to be able to unload. A little bit of damage. The Torpar Memories comes off, but still no kills for the side of ONIC. AP BREN able to disengage well. Neither team losing a member.
They're definitely holding on very well, though. You can already see. I love the read by Super Marco. That must have just been Flapteasy that was able to give that call out, but it's again going to give up the turret here. From the side of ONIC, they need to keep this pressure going. Like, they're able to secure neutral objectives. They've taken a tower already, which I think they just need to continue that focus. And if they can continue that, then AP BREN will be kind of pushed back against the wall. Now, what I think's really coming in on AP BREN's side is that they are kind of lacking a little bit of damage. It could be that we see the Fermis going with a Quantum Charge, which is a little interesting for a mid lane, I would say. Just looking to be engaging and being in the battle. So I think they're really relying on Super Marco, which again, I mean, he's 1-0-1. He could still get there, but I think it's going to come into the mid to late game.
I mean, if AP BREN gets the time,
Top
they will
lane.
definitely become a problem. A little bit of damage on Flapteasy. A nice knock up, but the Heartguard comes in the nick of time, but Albert gives him a face full of torn apart memories. ONIC finally starting to have the advantage in a map, but they still have to be careful. As we always say, AP BREN could make the strike at any moment.
Yeah, but I love that they're going back to the fundamentals, right? Like, they're just securing neutral objectives, taking towers, because I felt like maybe they listened to us. Like, they just weren't securing towers in the first and second game, and we're seeing that time around. Towers don't always mean wins, but it also allows you to punish a team when they overextend during Lord fights and, you know, other things like this. But this is where AP BREN normally flicks the switch. So this is where we're going to have to watch out. First Lord is here. Can AP BREN flick the switch, Trex?
We'll see. It's definitely a possibility. Super Marco hasn't taken a death, can still pack a punch. The only problem is AP BREN doesn't have that much. Oh my God, never mind. I was going to say not that much damage, but look at Flapteasy shredding down San. San's forced to use the black shoes before the Lord fight. Lord down about 20%. Here comes Minoan's Fury, the flicker once again. Every time, time after time. ONIC now trying to clean up. A Keyboy goes down few, able to pick up the kill. Albert gonna be next, but he finds a kill on a Kyle Teasy just in time. Kyrie able to take the Lord. But he loses 2 members. 3 members make it. AP BREN standing kind of on top. I think it could be a win because they're gonna get a tower here. ONIC, yes, they get the Lord, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see at what cost the final slash did come out, and it kind of offset AP BREN there. Torn apart memories definitely took them down low. I think they kind of like tunnel focused right there, and then they forgot that Kyrie was in the center of board pit and was still there, and he was low HP. They could have definitely jumped on him, so a little bit of a mistake by AP BREN. I mean, they were able to take out Albert, but again, they lost the Lord, took a mid tower. They need to kind of focus up and take the left and right tower as well. Looks like they might be trading the mid tower here as they're trying to come in to save it.
Yeah, ONIC wants to go for it. They've lost their whole mid So their side is honestly a bit more open in a sense. They need to try to crack this tier 3. It's going to be huge for them. Since they've taken so much on the sides, it's going to be, if they can crack that tier 3, it definitely opens things up, because right now they're still stuck in the bottleneck of rotating around the map. The moment they get that, it gives them a lot more freedom to be the aggressive team that they want to be.
I feel like what's causing a real problem for AP BREN at this point is that Lilia's Ice Queen one. Like, it's just slowing down the team to a crawl, and it's allowing Albert to scale. Now, he did take a death there, and you can kind of see I like this. They're focusing now on the turrets. I mean, there's not much else on the map to kind of focus on. Kind of put a little bit of pressure, but you got to remember that you're missing towers as well, so overextending could be a little bit of a problem and something that ONIC can capitalize on. We'll see. 65 seconds to the next Lord. It's wild.
I mean, at this point, ONIC has to be careful still. Flapteasy is becoming a menace. We saw the damage that Flapteasy did, able to get the kill on Albert earlier, able to keep Sans away. Positioning is going to be key, and they gotta catch Flapteasy, because he's the big damage dealer right now. And I think what they're doing is they're using that Minoan's Fury to make sure that Kyrie secures the Lord, which is important. It is huge, but if they continue to not catch some of the damage dealers of AP BREN, they're going to continue to get shredded. And look at that. CC should not be allowed in this game. She's a monster right now. Once she gets War Axe in, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been beat up by a yo-yo, but I can only imagine it would be a little rough. But yeah, I mean, kind of looking at AP BREN, they're taking it slow this time around. Again, trying to be calculated. The next Lord is up. This one, if I'm not mistaken, should be a little enhanced. So this is something that AP BREN's going to want to get, and ONIC is definitely going to get. So we got to watch out for Keyboy. His positioning in that Minnow's Rage has been the key factor for ONIC's plays right here. But if they're able to whittle him down and maybe make a different play, we could see something big here.
Yeah, the Keyboy is kind of switching it up a little bit, trying to give Sans a little bit of space. He's going to get pulled back in. Kyrie and Kyle Teasy, foes of their time, facing off on this Lord again. Ogwin. See, here's the great thing about the Angela, right? Yeah, because she can heart guard at any moment and be in the fight, and that's one of the tough things about going against an Angela, is you constantly have to worry about that, because Angela doesn't really have to be in the 5v5 until she pops the heart guard. ONIC gonna reset the Lord. Kyle Teasy making an engage. Kyrie able to get the taunt. Out comes the Nether Realm. That could be huge. Black shoes for Sans. A little more damage. Oh, there's the flicker. Can they catch one? Not yet. Flapteasy does get the heart guard. They're looking for a little bit more damage. ONIC still taking this slow, but minions are on their inhibitor in the bot lane. Someone's got to go back, and they choose to make it Sans. Kyrie going to try to make his way in. Kyle Teasy there as well. Heart guard going to be gone. No Nether Realm for the side of AP BREN either. Still several ults for the side of ONIC. I think they need to maybe try to force this now before the clocks start ticking and the cooldowns are up. But ONIC doesn't want to rush this. They don't want to force it.
Yeah, what it seems like is that they're just buying time at this point just to be able to push towers in against ONIC. And ONIC, I mean, they are, you know, pushing the lanes in as well. Left lane's kind of pushed pretty far for them, but I feel like their AP BREN's controlling the lanes a little bit better. Lord kind of low. Are they going to be able to opt to reset it or not? Oh, the
Kyle Teasy takes this Lord. I'm going to lose my freaking mind. He gets stunned. A final slash. Pushes him to the side. Can they do it? Keyboy actually able to take it with no one's fury. But AP BREN not quite done yet. Still unloading. Finally, Flapteasy goes down. He's been a nuisance to the team for a while. But now Keyboy goes 1 for 1. ONIC finally coming out on top in a Lord fight.
I mean, right now, we're definitely seeing... I can't believe Keyboy ended up getting that Lord. Both retries weren't available. But hey, I mean, that's a win for the side of ONIC, right? They're able to utilize an enhanced Lord, keep them at bay. Kind of taking a look at some of the items we do see. Super Marco missing 1 so far, so not too bad. Brody as well. So both marksmen's about to be online. ONIC trying not to go home empty-handed.
Definitely not. They want to take us the long haul. They want to keep everybody up late tonight, and I'm okay with it now because ONIC is up. And I didn't want to see a sweep. I was getting a little tired, but that's okay. But wait a second, in the top side, Albert taking a little bit too much damage. In trouble. Few gets the killing spree. Kyrie is the next. The BREN effect is online. The switch has been flipped.
Oh, it's not too bad, though. It's not too bad. 2 fall on the side of ONIC, but super minions are barreling down onto AP BREN. I mean, it's a good game. It's a good game. ONIC clapping back, but AP BREN seems to be winning in the team fight area. They just have to switch it up a little bit and be able to secure some of those neutral objectives. Now, if they can't do that, then ONIC's going to constantly keep being on top. Neither base are pierced yet, and I feel like that is going to be a big factor when one team's able to do that. We do see a little bit of a setup here. Maybe that could be the flick of the switch. You can already see that they are zoning lanes so well, Trex.
I will say this is the first time we've been this far in the game, and ONIC hasn't been down about 5,000 to 10,000 gold. And they were able to defend before at a huge gold deficit. So I want to say that maybe them being even or close to AP BREN is the advantage. But here's how good AP BREN is. Even in the beginning of this game when they were down in kills, even when it felt like ONIC was in control of some of the fights, AP BREN still keeps a solid gold lead. Take us through some of these items, though.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the items here, really what I'm seeing is Fairmiss just now picking up a Divine Glaive, so a little bit of magic piercing definitely going to be happening on the team fights. Again, Brody now has that Wind of Nature versus that Albert does as well. Sold his boots, so Super Marco sold his boots, picked up the Wind Talker, so that could be one of the biggest plays here. I mean, we're 17 minutes in, not super late game, but being able to pick that up right now is huge. Let's see what they're able to do with it here, Tract.
All right, Kyrie gonna start off on the Lord, let it reset. Altizi, per usual, just feeling the ground out, rolling around, gonna get position over the Lord here. Super Marco gonna start to unload Keyboy. Testing the waters too. ONIC very grouped up here. Sans holding the side, and once again we got the signal. Oh, wait a second, a little bit of damage on a Flapteezy there. Gonna be able to chip him back. Someone's got to go up and deal with Ogwin. AP BREN, the Angel backdoor, non-stop, just harassing. God, that's annoying. You gotta feel it for ONIC right now.
I mean, if we feel like it's annoying, it's definitely annoying.
Like, someone go deal with Angela again. You know? You as well. You mentioned the Divine Glaive earlier. Here's the thing about the Pheromones. In the beginning. Oh, wait a second. A lot of damage. The taunt does lock down. Flapteezy gets the heart guard, but it might not do enough. Cult Altar to try to help seal the deal. But still, Flaptezy taking a lot of damage. There's the Minoan's Fury. ONIC trying to collapse. Albert able to find Super Marco. Sans picking up the kill. Few now on the run. AP BREN for the first time shot back in 3 series. Shooken down. ONIC taking control of the Lord Pit, but look at Kyle Teasy, man. Look at him. He's still going to try to go for this. Flaptezy with him. Is AP BREN going to finally back off? They decide to. ONIC going to take the second Lord.
What happened there in our break time? ONIC now online. They're putting it to AP. Oh, look at the final slash. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything, though.
Teasy getting some nice chip damage. Kyle Teasy in a little bit of trouble, getting way too locked up. Finally taken down from the Appraiser's Wrath. San able to pop the black shoes. ONIC moving in onto the inhibitor. Lord hasn't even showed up yet, but they're going to break down this base. ONIC not trying to go home too early. Got their eyes on the prize here. Lord to make his way down the mid side. ONIC ready to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super surprised with how much damage they're outputting at this point. I think it's just they're utilizing and baiting quite a bit of the utility behind AP BREN, but the siege is happening.
Boots moving in for the final slash, able to connect onto one. Ogwin goes down, no heart guard for the team, that means. And now Flapteasy's in a little bit of trouble as well. Boots finally getting his revenge. ONIC getting onto the base, and that is it. It's not match point till ONIC says it is.
ONIC. Not one to leave the stadium empty-handed. Takes one on AP BREN. Man, what a battle. utilization of the Bashia and the Angela wasn't enough. The Bees have fallen in one match.
All right, so we're gonna have another hour to the next game. No, I'm just kidding.
Time to go back to the drawing board, kind of taking a look at some of these highlights that went down. The first blood going on the side of ONIC was pretty clutch, but I don't know if it was ultimately the deciding factor in the game. I think it was mainly how many utilities they were able to utilize and bait from the side of AP BREN. Also, just being able to secure so many neutral objectives. They took so many towers into the early age, and I mean, look at the torn apart memories just tearing apart AP BREN, and this just goes to show that ONIC is here to rumble.
Yeah, Keyboy was on fire that game, man. Those flicker Minoan's Fury, every time you could see it coming, but there was just no escape. Albert as well, we were a little questionable about the Brody pick, but it definitely started to pack a punch when they needed it, able to kind of zone out Flapteezy, and then Boots, even at the end, at one of these final replays, it was huge for them, but this is about 14 minutes in, second Lord of the game. And that is huge right there. We see the play happen. We see them finally catch off Flapteezy here. He goes down, and this is when everything finally starts to shift. Kind of a tug and pull, but ONIC finally kind of takes control here. A little bit of a fight in the mid again. This is when AP BREN tugs back a bit. First Lord goes down, and AP BREN takes control.
Yeah, I really think it came in clutch that Keyboy was able to utilize the Minnow's Rage to secure the Lord into this late game. Again, the bait, the utilization of the Nether Realm was also great and clutch for him because they were just stacking up. Albert was just stacking stacks, and then the moment the Nether Realm let up, he just tore them apart. So it just worked out in their favor, being able to secure the Lord and then end on a siege. You could see that AP BREN tried to attempt to move the Lord into another tower, but a good response by ONIC here. So it was just a great game.
And Boots finally kind of comes online there too, able to get the better of Flapteezy. Yes, he had Big Brother Lord on his back to help out, but still, you started to see the tipping point of where the CC wasn't as savage as it was in the first 10-15 minutes. Let's take a look at the MVP for ONIC's first win of the series. It's going to be Sans on the Lilia, 3-1-7, 37 damage dealt. You were worried about burst damage, D. Well, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, in the very beginning, I was definitely a little skeptical about the team comp, but I think ultimately we approached that end game mark, which allowed the Lilia to just go crazy. So I think paired with that and then Albert just on the Brody, it was actually pretty decent for the side of ONIC. So it came clutch, and then Keyboy, just those minnows, the rage was coming out. The pure adrenaline by the side of ONIC just goes to show they are do not count them out on the world stage.
Yeah, they showed up when they needed to. I think it got to a point where people were losing faith. We were losing faith. We were wondering if ONIC was going to be able to take something here, able to get their flow back. And now they've finally broken the momentum of AP BREN. I mean, it's 2-1. It's still match point for AP BREN. We still know how strong AP BREN can be, but still to come back after a 2-0 deficit, I mean, it's pretty huge. Taking a look at the kills, it was still a very close game. At any point, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, you got to really think about the mental when it comes to being so far behind like this. And now, I mean, it's one step to the highest pedestal here. Can ONIC keep that up? And I mean, if they're able to break the switch of AP, then I think they could definitely do this.
They got to hit the switch and turn the lights out.
I feel like it. We'll see.
All right, so ONIC takes it, and again, I think in that game, I don't think it had too much to do with draft that game. I think honestly, AP BREN had a decent draft. I think one of the major points was Keyboy timing those Minoan's Furies perfectly, and ONIC able to kind of hang in there against the force that AP BREN is. And I think they had a very clear job going in there is, okay, we need to just make sure we're able to secure these Lords. Like, even if we're a little behind in gold, even if we take a death or two, we have to secure the Lords, and the best way to do that is Keyboy to time the Minoan's Fury perfectly so that Kyle TZ gets knocked up and that Kyrie can get a clean retribution off, can have free space. And first Lord, you know, even some of those turtles, they took losses on them. They would take 2 deaths. ONIC wasn't really winning off of those, but what was definitely not happening is they weren't losing off of them. You know, they weren't falling behind 5, 6, 7K gold by the 15-minute mark. So ONIC maybe has found an answer to at least keep up with AP BREN throughout the early to mid game.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to just solid CC tanks, right? Like, just having, I feel like, of course they had an Angela, right? So it was a little bit of a problem when it just came to that aspect. I thought it was going to be a little bit too much support paired with the Fairness. So again, it just came down to great timing, good control, and overall execution. So overall, ONIC did insanely well that game. I don't know if it was that little bit of a break that they just, you know, so took a shot of energy, but whatever they just did, bring it again.
They definitely needed something there, and they pulled it off. There's something else I want to point out here. No Vexana that game.
Yeah, you did say that earlier. You said that if Vexana got banned.
It was AP BREN who banned it out, but still, like, the pressure that Few brings on, I think, any kind of mage like that, I think is something that we definitely need to look at, something that definitely needs to be made clear, because the zoning he's able to give him, when you put him on something like the Faramis, it's just not there as much in the early and mid game, and it kind of slows down the pace of AP BREN.
True. So, I mean, we've seen quite a few comps come at AP BREN now, and quite a few comps pulled out by ONIC, so it just, we'll see. I mean, if they can keep this up, I like the momentum's now in the favor of ONIC. AP BREN now having to take a step back and kind of, you know, re-look at what was going down. Do they force the Vexana in the lineup once again? I mean, it seems like the Lilia has just been a game changer for some teams. So maybe targeting the Lilia. I mean, there's quite a few options that they could possibly go with here. But I think right now, ONIC just stays on the same path that they're on. Just keep the solid CC up. You definitely need it for when you're taking a Lord like that, because every time it seems like it's coming down to a 50-50 retry battle. So we'll have to see. I feel like ONIC's on a good path now.
Yeah, they're going to get blue side as well, which I think blue side has been, you know, the favorited side for wins. So you get the first pick. You get to draft a little bit differently. On blue side, you can kind of choose to target a bit more if you want, and let red side see if they want to do the more of meta bans. Things like the Joy, the Matilda, you know, those things we've been talking about for a while, which we know AP BREN is normally willing to at least leave one of them open, like the Guinevere. But still, I do feel like you're a bit more in the driver's seat when it comes to the first phase of bans. Picks a little bit different because you're pretty open to get countered to, but still, I think ONIC is in a decent position right now to definitely make this series stretch out.
Yeah. My overall thought is now, like, what does AP BREN do, right? You know, they're a little bit on the back foot. What's their overall strategic approach to this next match? Do they just rock it out like they did in the first two, kind of play as aggressive as they possibly can? I felt like they definitely took a step back because they had 2 supports this time. So I feel like that could have been a big factor into their overall gameplay. So maybe not utilizing the Fairness in the mid. It doesn't seem like it's super effective against ONIC, especially when they have that burst mage in the center. Again, they picked up the carry, but we've seen the carry actually shine sometimes. I just don't think it made it too late into the game for it to really pick up.
I mean, it definitely took some time, and it wasn't really able to get into the zone. And again, I think the Boy was a big answer to that. Boots was a big answer to that. Because if Super Marco wanted to get inside of that Netherrealm area, you're in constant danger, right? You're in constant danger from the Final Slash. You're in constant danger from the No One's Fury, from an Appraisal's Wrath. Just a lot of the AoE damage that was coming from the side of ONIC there kind of made Super Marco forced to stay back a little bit and not really able to scale. Also, something ONIC did great in that last series was you noticed it. Once they got a lead, they turned that lead, or once they got a kill, they would turn that kill into enemy objectives, right? Into taking those towers, into controlling macro, so that even though they were getting split pushed for a bit there by Oakwin, it was still kind of evened up in a sense of towers.
Yeah, and I felt like that again was just like the first 2 games they were lacking in those the objective department, right? They weren't taking towers. They were losing turtles and lords. So instead of going for the 50-50, might as well just go for other objectives, right? And this time they were actually winning turtles and securing objectives. And something I've always learned throughout my like Mobile Legends career is that if there's a kill, you need to turn that into something else, right? Like they're down a person, let's go get something else, right? Secure the enemy jungle, secure a tower, secure something, you know, vision on the map. Like always take something when you take something again, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I think, so I think at this point, honestly, you asked earlier, what does AP BREN do? I don't think they really need to change too much. Even that last game, it was very possible that they could have taken it, right? It's very possible that they could have won that last game. ONIC was not like in complete control of that game. They were able to get a big play and finish things out. They even rushed it, you know? They didn't even like play it super safe in that last finish. They were like, we got to end now. We got to end now. Whereas AP BREN normally takes a slower approach. If they get the better of you, they take an inhibitor or 2, then they back off. They come back for another one. ONIC knows it's we can't mess. We can't play with our food. Let's get in there. So definitely, I think AP BREN can kind of just come into this again, play what they want, you know, play what they feel is best. I definitely think one of the weaknesses in the last one was the Fermis and the Angela. It kind of gave a little bit too much space for ONIC, and I think one of the things they've done so well is smothering ONIC, and that's where ONIC kind of falters, because ONIC's not used to teams smothering them, right? I don't think ONIC is really used to teams just like bullying them in the laning phase and things like that. And I think that's where AP BREN kind of has their number. It's like, okay, we have the skill, we have the micro mechanics to kind of go there with you, and when they do that, ONIC kind of falls apart sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I enjoy the strategic approach that like you're stating, you know, but I'm still like, do they run with the same comp? I know that they were kind of just lacking a bit of damage, and I kind of felt like that was going to be the case, especially since, I mean, I know that Asha definitely does counter the Fred a little bit just because of that jungle speed, but I think the early death that he took was like one of those downfalls. It already slowed down his jungle at that point and kept him at bay. So I do think that ultimately the Angela just didn't help like any of the other roams did that they've played, right? Like the Angela just can't jump in there, can't get vision, or she'll pay for it, which I think in the very beginning she was the first one to die, which again is just a little bit of a tough choice. So I think it was ultimately they were trying to bring the AP BREN style into something that is a little laxative and not as easy to pull that style off, you know?
I think it's definitely a fair statement overall. I want to take a look at, see if they're up just yet. at some of the last picks and bans real fast, since we have some time to kill, it seems. First bans for the side of AP BREN there. They banned out the Vex, they banned out the Joy, they banned out the Novaria. This time ONIC is going to be blue side again. I still believe that ONIC should maybe stick to what they did, ban out the Vexana. Maybe even if they don't want to first pick it, maybe even ban out the Arlot, because I mean, in the hands of AP BREN, that R lot is just vicious. Whether it's Ogwin, whether it's whoever, does look like finally we're going to be jumping into the draft. Still match point for AP BREN. ONIC trying to get the rerun here, trying to tie things up and bring it all down to one game.
Yeah. Good. I mean, ONIC said we're not going to be able to first pick the minnow, so let's get rid of the minnow. Let's get rid of the Vexana. They're targeting key heroes that were definitely disrupting their flow, and I think they're ready, right? Like, this is match point still, AP BREN. So ONIC gonna have to really strategize here when it comes to this, and you know, like you said, it's not a best out of 7, but they're kind of, now that they have this extra game, like they've been able to learn, they've been able to see the little bit of a weakness that AP BREN had. Be it the draft, be it the overall control in the game, but I think this is the time that they're able to like mount up a game plan. Now they're going the Fairness. Now there's 2 options here. Do they leave open the Matilda or do they leave open the Guinevere?
I mean, definitely, I think it's, they leave both open.
Just force it so they can get one?
Yeah, I think they leave both open.
Yeah.
I mean, that's normally the strat here. They might leave the Gwynny open. That's what we saw in game 1. They left the Guinevere open. They banned. This was like literally almost the same exact position. So they could. They know they can play well against the Guinevere. They might just ban the Matilda here if they see it as that much more of a threat. They go for no. They leave both open. So does ONIC prio the Gwynny or the Matilda? I think they got to take the Matilda.
I was thinking so too. But, I mean, what we did just see, I mean, they're going for it. Yeah. I was like, but it seems like they need solid CCs to interrupt Calteezy. So picking up that Matilda, does that force them out of that comfort zone that they just had in the last match? Like, you're going to have speed, but are you going to have CC?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm wondering, my thing is now that they have this Matilda, they can go for... Like, ONIC can kind of go for something a bit lower pace if they want. Like they could go, go like for the Barats now. We didn't see them pick it before. We also haven't seen Kyrie in general played a whole lot. Now with the Nana picked, they do need to think about a mid lane here. There's no Novaria, there's no Vexana. They need something here. They could go for the Lilia again, lock it in now. Could be solid. There, Barats Lilia. Woo. 3 for 3, baby.
I mean, we're just good. Good. We've been here a little bit. Now for the side of AP, their final pick here, I mean, they could lock in the R-Lot. I mean, that would be a good team control. I mean, the Minnow's already banned. I mean, they could go Tag as well.
I think the R-Lot's honestly really solid. Just, I mean, because it's flexible. We know that both Flap and Ogwin can play it if they want to. It leaves them very open. And they both of them, Flap TZ and Ogwin, both played amazingly. But they go for the CC. CC's a monster. I mean, CC's like a point away from just being on the ban board every single, in the draft, honestly.
Yeah, but I feel like is she going to be able to keep up with the speed that the Matilda offers, right? Like, I feel like she has to have that presence to harass. And if the Matilda's there, I feel like that's where the conflict happens. And I mean, Flap TZ definitely, I mean, we know who he is. So it just all depends on location and positioning of the team, I would say. So I still think the R-Lot could come out. Maybe they're just waiting on it for a little bit to kind of see what the second ban phase leads into. Do you see the Claude? The Claude would have been a good go here.
I'm wondering if ONIC's gonna go for the Ixia Matilda combo here. The the full barrage and the guiding winds combo. Wondering if they're going to lock that in. We haven't really seen Ixia a whole lot in Games of Future so far, but it is still a pretty viable pick. Trades pretty well, and with Claude gone, I'm wondering exactly what they want to pick. Or do they go full speed here?
Oh,
maybe finally
AP
lock in the 1-1. They could go for the Brody as well. I mean, pretty much anything fits with the Matilda. Now that you have that on the field and you have your Barats holding on the front side, they have nice damage. Albert has a lot of leeway room here.
Yeah. I mean, they need to find some type of way to deal with the Lilia. I feel like the Lilia was definitely a pain in the last game for AP. ONIC, though, banning out quite a few marksmans. I mean, Natan and Nathan's still on the board, so maybe AP's maybe thinking about picking that up, but ONIC could pick that up as well.
Definitely agree. They get the Ruby, though.
Solid.
So Ruby, Roam, Jungle, Gwyn, EXP, CC. Nana, they still need a marksman here. They will get last pick, so I think it's a solid kind of waiting for that. See what Albert's going to lock in. Hare's still a possibility. Wanwan's still a possibility. Brody, Bruno, Ixia. They go for the Wanwan. Which is actually not bad here, just because of the nullification of CC with the second skill, right? So if the Gwynny lands on you, you got a way to get away. If the Ruby catches you, you have a way to get away. I don't know if it works against transformations. I know it works against CC and lockdown, but I don't know if it works against the transformation of the Melina.
I want to know this last pick. What marksman? Is it the Nathan? Is it the Beatrix? I mean, all you got to do is really click the attack button with the SMGs, and you're able to hit the Wanwan. So I could see it. You can
also snipe it. You can also play range against the Wanwan in the early laning phase with the sniper. You can build for whether you want to do shred damage against the Barats, whether you want to do burst damage. You have plenty of options and plenty of outs, so I think it's definitely a flexible, solid pick for the side of AP BREN. It's definitely not a marksman we see all the time, but I definitely don't think she's just like fallen off or anything like that. She's definitely viable when the time is right.
Yeah, AP BREN's pulled it out, I think, once or twice before, so they're comfortable with it. We'll see how it goes. And the Wanwan's wild. And I was talking about Wanwan like during one of our breaks. I was wondering if ONIC or someone was going to pull it out, because it just was never banned. And I think it had just come down to seeing how well it can be utilized in team fights. Earlier in the comps, we've seen Wanwan scale and go crazy. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, I think Albert's been the only one to pick up the Wanwan so far. I don't think any other team has ran it yet. I think he's been like the trademark pick for it, unless it happened in group stages. But here we are, jumping into the land of Dawn. ONIC trying to tie things up. AP BREN trying to get out of here early. It's match point once again at the Games of Future Grand Finals. This is AP BREN versus ONIC.
Yeah, we can already see that AP BREN's kind of rotating early with the Ruby, which is a little wild. I guess maybe trying to help clear the mid lane a little bit faster against Lilia, which is a little understandable. But the passive,
they tried.
I know.
They went for it. Even the crowd got a little loud there. I heard it.
You gotta love when the crowd interacts with like what's going down. Right now, you can already see that the pressure on the side of ONIC, they really want to stop and put pressure onto Super Marco. And I think the Matilda is going to be at play here. The Matilda Bratz combo is just an overall good combo. It allows the jungle to be able to rotate and move fast. And you can already see that Kyrie's putting on the pressure on the enemy jungle. And I mean, Gwyn also has the ability to roam and put pressure and to be able to secure jungles. But let's see if paired with the Matilda, they're able to do it quicker on the side of ONIC. Win conditions, what do you think here, Trex?
I mean, win conditions overall, I think both teams scale. Both teams have a pretty a decent late game. You have Albert on the Wanwan. I think something that is going to be crucial for the side of ONIC is making sure that Albert has decent space and a decent game. And with the Matilda and with the Barats, they should be able to create ample opportunity for Albert to get something off.
I like it.
San's taking a little bit of damage here. Ogwyn and Few in the mid side. The major thing that everyone's going to have to watch out for is Ogwyn with that I'm offended. This guy knows how to make a set when he needs to. He knows how to make a play when he needs to. Keyboy and San's both locking in the Purify, so it's definitely a solid answer. Wanwan has the built-in Purify. So AP BREN, I think one of their win conditions is going to be kind of layering a lot of their attacks. Everyone not blowing their load at once, kind of taking their time with these team fights.
Yeah. I feel like also Kyrie is going to have to manage those stacks really well. And if AP BREN, you know, disrupts that, it could be a little bit of a problem, but maybe a little bit of an engage.
Boy able to get the knock up onto Ogwin. Sans trying to get out, but not able to. Flapteasy getting the final hit. First blood for the side of AP BREN. Kyrie decides that's it. We're calling off. Back to your stations.
Yeah, but Ogwin doesn't want to let up. Flapteasy, they're all over him.
They're going to force him to use the retry here. He's going to be okay, but at least they force that out. AP BREN with that, and Kyle Teasy not using the retry. They're going to try to go for a purple buff steal here.
Ooh, I mean, they can, right? I mean, they have the retry. This would be clutch for him.
Kyrie gets to Daytona's welcome, though. And the stun. Kyle Teasy takes a lot of damage. Able to get away. Grand Theft Purple. Ogwin just dashing through. Kyrie gonna be okay, but
mad.
still, that is huge. Yeah, he's walking up by himself. He's like, nah, forget this, man. You ain't gonna steal my whip.
This ain't no Grand Theft Purple without any consequences. Nah, that's a good go by the side of AP. They keep up this pressure. I think just kind of reverting back to what they did in game 1 and 2. And they're just applying heavy pressure. Right now, we're not seeing too many rotations. I mean, it's 4 minutes in with only 1 kill. We can kind of take a look at some of the items. We see Corrosive Scythe being picked up by Albert, which is clutch. Right now, I think... Flap's easy.
A little bit of damage on Flap, but Flap still, I mean, that's just a CC right there, man. It's like, even when you think you got the better, out of nowhere, she's throwing more yo-yos in your face.
I don't understand how you heal with a yo-yo, but it's there. Wan, though, struggling a little bit down here against Super Marco.
Two major happening still. It's 1-0 gold at a small deficit for AP BREN, but this is definitely a good spot for them. If Super Marco can keep dominating in this top lane and Albert having to slow play this, like I said, it's going to be a problem. They need Albert to scale. They need Albert to be able to get some free waves here and be able to get involved in these team fights soon. Oh, a lot of damage on the Keyboy, though. Keyboy might just be able to get away from this. Use the circling eagle, but no! Taken down, and a kill goes into the pocket of Super Marco.
I wonder if Super Marco picked up the Blade of Despair, because he's doing a lot of damage at this point, right? And now the turtle is probably going to be uncontested because you can already see the side of the map. Bravest fighter on the flat, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. ONIC, I like this. They're responding. They know they can't get the turtle, and this is what I was saying before. Can they take something here?
Oh, AP BREN takes something themselves. Finds Sans. Sans 2 deaths now. Not at the place we want to see a Lilia. AP BREN feeling confident in themselves. The switch might have been flipped here. I'm wondering how much more aggressive they're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see they're gonna, you know, Wario this tower right here. Oh no, they backed off. They seen the numbers difference was there. Again, I think the side of ONIC, they just got to keep this up. Like you were saying, Albert needs to kind of get fed, keep the gains coming. And Sans, I mean, gonna have to stop dying here. They're definitely taking advantage of it. The Matilda not coming into too big of a play yet.
Yeah, definitely being monsters. Kyrie still trying to zone, but he's kind of been on his lonesome lately, and that's because that's because Keyboy has been forced to kind of babysit other areas, move around the map, stay close to Albert. Luckily, Albert hasn't taken a death yet. That's very important. Few though on this Nana is definitely going to end up being a problem as well. It's going to be hard for Kyrie. He's going to have to watch out for those Molinas because that could be the game changer in a big retribution battle.
True. And I mean, just the pressure. This is like literally just reliving game 1. Like they are just applying so much pressure on ONIC, and they have to find some type of relief here. But again, I feel like at some point they're keeping. They're keeping this left tower, which is it's good, right? Albert just has to get a key play on this Wan, and it can make differences.
And they're just a little too late there. ONIC looks for the play non-stop. But AP BREN is constantly answering faster. They know them. They know when they're coming. They feel it out. And like you said, they're just eating up at ONIC right now. Kyrie, unable to get his last orange buff. They're losing towers in the bot. Here comes another turtle. Last turtle of the game. Keyboy Gonna try to make the roundabout. Not able to get a knock on to anybody. The bombs come down, and Kyle-T's able to take it. Kyrie taking huge damage. Unable to even finish the Daytona's welcome. The rest of his team not there to help out.
He went from a big dino to a tiny dino right there. It was
big dino to a dead dino.
Yeah. AP BREN just controlling the field, turned him into a fossil. ONIC gonna have to figure out a way to bite back. And I think, I mean, they're controlling it here. I just think at some point we need to see Albert into an engage, but they don't want to lose him.
I thought he was going for the quick no scope right there. Almost hit Super Marco, definitely becoming a threat. 2-0 and 1, the 360 no scope. Trying to land down. ONIC
American
now
Sniper Special.
losing out on the mid side as well. AP BREN looking to close the distance here. Can they clear this wave? Ogwin, Poppy, I'm offended, but a lot of damage. On to Few, force back Sans, looking for the chase. Doesn't have the black shoes, so can't overcommit, but Boots able to get the land down onto Kyle Teasy. But out comes Nibiru's Passion, and Kyrie is forced to back off. A nice crossbow of Tang, but still no finishes for ONIC. AP BREN still controlling with a 5K gold lead.
Now, if I was on the side of ONIC right now, I would just, they got to play it tactical at this point, right? Like, Albert's still doing really good. Keyboy hasn't died, but I think he needs to be in a little bit more of a key location to be able to save his team sometimes. Mainly, Sans at this point kind of dying. Taking a look at some of the items, we do see the Demon Hunter sword being picked up by Albert, so could be coming online, but the biggest difference is that Super Marco has the Malefic Roar secured and the Blade of Despair, so the damage is a lot.
Oh, Boots gets pulled back, though, with the I'm offended. There's no way to get the stun, trying to respond. Able to come back, using the guiding wind. Sans able to pop the black shoes. AP BREN blows everything they can, but ONIC, do they want to try to push this over? Nobody falls in such a clash, and only teams like this could pull something like that off. Flap Teasy still holding down the front line. Kyrie, here comes the conceal play. Watch for Ogwin, watch for Flap. Kyrie taking a lot of damage here. Ogwin gonna get locked up, misses the I'm offended. Boots misses the stun. Super Marco looking for an angle. And Kyrie able to take the first Lord of the game there. They lose Sans and Boots though. Very similar to last game. They're able to control the objective, but AP BREN may be able to crack through this tower.
Yeah, I mean, this is good pressure by AP BREN, but ONIC able to secure it. I feel like it's good. Look at Albert, possibly going to be able to make a play. Maybe on the Flap. Do they attempt it?
They have Keyboy with them. No, they're just going to play a safe, back off. They got the Lord. They stall out a little bit more, but how long can they continue to play the stall game for? AP BREN with a dominating lead right now.
Yeah, and we can already see Super Marco is just coming online. The damage is devastating. When the SMGs collide into any of the team fights, it's just, it's too much. Really, right now, if I'm on the side of ONIC, they're doing what I would do, right? Just keep Albert farming, keep him going. He's 1-0-0. Really haven't seen any crossbow tanks coming out just yet, but when they do, that's probably going to devastate AP BREN. So I feel like that's the biggest thing we have to watch out for. We don't see a Wind of Nature being picked up by Super Marco, but we do see it by Albert. So again, this is what I was saying. This could be a turning grace.
Ooh. Still play from Ogwin, not able to find too much. Kyle Teasy dashes under the tower. ONIC still just trying to defend here. Albert playing the off lanes, doing it well, just farming up, still hasn't taken a death. So yes, you're right, that's huge. But AP BREN, man, this is exactly where they want to be. And at this point, they feel comfortable. They're just going to kind of freeze up the lanes a little bit, slow play things, hold their gold lead, and wait for ONIC to step out a little bit too much.
Oh, he missed both shots. I feel like if you had the SMG right there, Sans would have been panicking, but...
I mean, Sans panicked anyways. He's like, black shoes, black shoes. Was not messing around. I mean, I think it was smart if he stayed there. It could have been bad, but either way, like, you see the snipe come out, you're like, oh, I gotta go. Because you don't know who else is in the bush. Kyrie. A little bit of a skirmish here at the purple buff. Kyle Teasy. looking for an angle as well. Super Marco going to back off as Few stays behind, taking a lot of damage. Few in trouble, forced to use a flicker there. Takes a little bit of burn, but the passive does not proc. AP BREN still in control.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in a little bit of control, right? I mean, right now, ONIC able to, you know, control a little bit of the right lane and the turtle area. I feel like this is going to be a key play. Do they go opt for a concealed play? Kind of how do they approach this here? Utilities available for both sides. Only thing is that Nana does not have that flicker, so could be huge. You can kind of see Few staying into the back line, trying to keep them at bay. ONIC, what's your play?
I don't know. I mean, they do have control of the pit, but the last time I felt like they had a little bit of control over the pit as well. They don't want to step too far out. They can't really take full control because if Boots gets to the other side of the river, he just gets torn apart. If Keyboy steps to the other side of the river, he just gets torn apart. So they kind of have to play this half and half game. San's in trouble, goes down, a mega kill into the hands of Super Marco. ONIC aborts mission. They're going to back off. They're going to give this Lord over. It's 25 seconds till Sans is back up, and AP BREN isn't going to wait that long.
I mean, it looks like they pulled back a little bit to maybe attack again. Lord low.
Oh, the Molina Blitz does land on to Kyrie. Super Marco able to secure the Lord. Kyle Teasy does use the Retribution as well for it. ONIC unable to make a move.
Keyboy utilized the Purify to stay out of the I'm offended. It could have been really bad for ONIC at that engage. Again, taking a look at some of the items, we still don't see a Wind of Nature being picked up by Super Marco, but the damage is there. There it is. Wind of Nature secured. This could be a tough go here, as we have not seen Albert use one crossbow of Tang.
He used one, but it didn't do anything.
Did he? Oh,
he
God.
used one, but it did not do anything. Oh, nice. I'm offended on to Kyrie. He's going to get knocked up by the Violent Requiem, and he's taken low. Kyrie's still on the map, though, able to just survive. No members from either team have dropped yet, but the inhibitor has fallen. Albert trying to get the swift plays, move around. Does get the crossbow Tang mark, but he's not able to do it. Forced to bounce back to the team. Kyrie going to get the Tona's welcome. Bash him against the wall. Flapteezy takes a little bit of damage, but the I'm offended locks on to Kyrie. Kyrie taking too much. Can he survive this? A little bit of play. Kyle Teasy dashes back onto the team. AP BREN got what they were looking for, but still nobody drops. And it's just insane to think about two teams like this can have a battle that long and nobody dies.
That was crazy. Lords barreling down, sustainability from both teams. And that just goes to show like the micro play coming from both sides are just so good. And to be honest, I was suspecting Super Marco to actually be dealing some like critical damage, but ONIC's just able to eat it. Oh.
Gonna lose another purple. He sees no buffs this game. Kyle T is always there, the man of Kyrie's nightmares right now. Just retry after retry after retry. Kyrie even has to, he even tried using the retry, but he's still unable to get it. Kyle Teasy and the team showing pure dominance.
Yeah, I mean, right now, AP BREN's. Yeah, this is what I was saying, right? Like in the early stage, if Kyrie's not able to keep up these stacks, it's going to be a big problem.
Oh, no! Marco! Albert, why?
Oh, no.
Marco's waiting for him at the shotgun loaded. Bow, bow, boom. Albert's gone, and now AP BREN smells the blood. Here comes the BREN effect. Flapteezy gonna flap on in. Oh, Gwyn looking for something as well. Kyrie just trying to defend with the rest of the team, but boom!
Oh,
Super Marco takes out another. The target is locked, and they're taken down. Sans and Albert are off the map. The two major damage dealers. Is AP BREN gonna try to finish this out here? One big mistake to finish things off. Kyrie taking way too much damage. Keyboy looking for the knock-up. Boots into the backside with the bravest fighter. They're just trying to defend, but the minions keep on coming. Ladies and gentlemen, AP BREN, undefeated, undisputed, from world champions to the games of the future. They take it all.
And now they're the Phigytal Games champion. And you can see how happy they are. They're standing on chairs. Look at, I really wish I could hear the crowd. It's probably going wild at this point. Man.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things I love most about seeing AP BREN is their reactions every single time. These guys